At Citi Field in New York, the New York Mets play the Chicago Cubs as we present Mets Plus exclusively on SNY. Tonight's broadcast will include special enhanced content, and it's brought to you by Citi. New York, New York. What a splendor. It's the 1st of July. Got Shakespeare in the Park now. Empire State Building, ready for tours. 59th Street Bridge, sitting there beautifully. And Citi Field, home of the Mets. Adam Fudge, good evening, everybody, and welcome to Citi Field. Gary Cohen, Ron Darling, Keith Hernandez with you tonight as a very special broadcast, our Mets Plus broadcast as the Mets play the Chicago Cubs. You know, the Mets have struggled for offense. That's no secret. 12 runs, 12 games. Their last 12, they've scored just 22 runs. The other twin difficulty that the Mets have had is on defense, and while they haven't been able to do much about the offense, they have at least made moves to try to improve their defense.
Well, it kind of goes hand in hand. You've got Daniel Murphy, who was out. They could ill afford to lose Murph with the quad injury, missed 22 ball games. Now he's back to bolster the offense, but really playing third base enables the Mets to put Tejada at shortstop, which is his natural position. Remember, Ruben was playing third base, and Flores has played more second base than shortstop. Now, the old adage in baseball, you got to be strong up the middle. Flores goes better to his right than his left. So at second base now, he's going up the middle towards his right, has more range, so therefore more strength in the defense up the middle. And when you're playing close games with well-pitched ball games, you can lose a ball game with your defense.
And that defense certainly should be able to help out the pitching staff, which is trying to overcome the Mets' lack of offense. Bartolo Colon, though, among the Mets starters, has been the guy who lately has been the weakest link.
Well, there's a couple of things when you look at Bartolo Colon's games of late, is that he is getting hit hard early. And I think one of the reasons that teams have been much more aggressive early in the count against Bartolo, and his control, especially with his fastball that he throws 75% of the time or more, has not been down where he likes it.
The Chicago Cubs spent a lot of money on left-hander John Lester. So far, the results have been underwhelming.
Yeah, they have not been good. He's shown a lot of frustration after signing that 6-year deal. But you know what? He's known for winning 15 or more ball games, 200 or more innings. I'm sure he'll be there at the end of the year.
So it's the Mets and Cubs. Mets trying to get even in the series after suffering their 4th 1-0 loss of the season last night. Mets and Cubs, all the action coming your way on SNY. Brought to you by Citi, proud partner of the New York Mets. Get to Citi Field on Saturday, July 11th, when the Mets take on the Diamondbacks at 4:10 p.m. The first 15,000 fans in attendance will receive a Juan Lagares bobblehead, courtesy of Geico. For tickets, visit Mets.com/tickets. Well, we're very excited to once again partner with Citi to provide fans with Mets Plus, a special broadcast that provides viewers with unique coverage of the Mets, both on and off the field. And I'm joined by Citi's head of Global Public Affairs, Ed Schuyler. And Ed, this is an incredibly special partnership that Citi has with the Mets. Can you explain to us how this is important for Citi?
Yes, well, what Mets Plus really allows us to do are two things. One is it provides an enhanced experience for the viewers. So you're allowed to pioneer new 4K technology for slow-mo. We're going to have a mic on Tim Tuffle tonight, so we'll be able to hear the calls. Hopefully somebody get sent around third base, and we'll have some excitement there. But also, it allows us to have some time to talk about what Mets and the Citi do in the New York City community.
And when you talk about the relationship between Citi and New York City, what are we talking about?
Well, there's a couple of things that we're doing, that we partner with the Mets. First of all, we got the Citi Community Home Runs program. So every time there's a home run hit here, and there have been 30 so far, we donate $2,000 to whether it's the UHO, City Harvest, the YMCA, and I think so far Studa is leading the charge with 7. We also have supporting small businesses through the Citi Small Business Call-Ups, and we're going to announce the winner of this year's contest, and the winner is going to have a pop-up stand in the back of Citi Field. And we do programming for young people. We partner with the Citi clients to give them enhanced experiences, whether it's seat upgrades or even free parking, even throughout the first pitch. So we do a lot of fun things to enhance the experience for people that are coming to the ballpark, and also people that are watching at home.
Well, Ed, it's terrific having Citi with us, and great having you in the booth tonight. Thanks so much.
Thanks, and have a great night. Hopefully the Mets win.
All right, that's Ed Schuyler with Citi joining us on our Mets Plus telecast. Here's the starting lineup for the Chicago Cubs tonight, brought to you by Citi. Mike Baxter, the former Met, gets his first start in the series, playing in right field. David Ross catches for the second straight night. He's been John Lester's personal catcher this year. Addison Russell, the second baseman for the Cubs, gets the night off. Jonathan Herrera will be in the lineup at second base. And Chris Coghlan slides into the cleanup spot for the Cubs tonight. They snapped a 5-game losing streak last night. Bartolo Colon biding his time, getting ready to take the field for the start tonight. Bartolo, after a couple of down starts in a row, looking to get things turned around tonight, trying again for his 10th victory of the season.
Well, the thing about Bartolo, I told you in the open that he struggled, of course, recently, but you look at his career record, 213 wins, 147 losses. That's 66 games over 500. And at Citi Field in his career, he's 14-10 here. His ERA just under 4. Well, these are the numbers here on Bartolo during the season. 9-6 record, ERA awfully high, no walks to speak of, only 10, and 71 punch-outs in the 92 innings.
And we'll take a look at your Citi lovable, adorable, humble New York Metropolitans. Mayberry, the left-hander, of course, will get the start in left field, but Kadire now got a cortisone shot injection in his knee day-to-day. Probably miss next couple games. Murph, of course, back at third base. Tejada back in familiar territory at shortstop, and Flores over at second base. And Plawecki getting an awful lot of playing time. Poor Darno just can't stay off the DL. Very unfortunate injuries for Travis.
Well, John Nee certainly pitched well enough to win last night, but came away with the loss, and that's been a familiar theme for Met pitchers over this last stretch.
4 losses now this season, losing 1-0 the Mets have, and that's just extraordinary when you think about it in the first half of the season.
In fact, it's the most 1-0 losses the Mets have ever had since the end of June, and the 4 is their highest total for a full season since 1990. So you don't lose 1-0 games that often, but this team has had the misfortune to do that between the excellent pitching they've had and the lack of offense.
You know, you talk about the two sides of the field. The offense is struggling, obviously, mightily. And the pitchers are pitching in hard luck, but they at least have they can look at it and say, well, I pitched a good ball game, I'm not getting support. It's tougher on the offense because you're going, gosh, they know their pitchers are out there busting their chops, and we can't get them any runs. We're not doing our job.
Well, Colon will try and get himself back on the beam. He can't really be worrying about the offense right now. He's going to be worrying about his own performance at age 42. And, you know, anytime you go through a slump when you're an older player, you know, whispers begin.
That's right.
And, you know, Colon's trying to keep this magical post-40 career going. Dexter Fowler leads off, takes a fastball for a strike, and we're underway. Fowler 1 for 4 last night, hitting .237, but tonight hitting from his weaker side of the plate. He's hitting just .217 as a left-hand batter. Ball and a strike. And a broken back grounder. Flores right in front of it. And Fowler retired for the first out of the night.
It's really what you want to see from Colon, down in the strike zone with good movement. He's going to get those balls off the center of the bat. Watch his sinking fastball. If you come off it a little bit, it's an automatic 4-3.
So Fowler retired, 1 out. Now Anthony Rizzo, whom the Mets held in check last night. Rizzo was 0 for 4, but he's having a marvelous year. Hitting .300 for the season, 15 homers, 44 driven in. Third in the league in on-base percentage, 6th in slugging percentage.
2 straight series now where you've seen the big bomber in the lineup. Votto for Reds, and now Rizzo here in the number 2 hole.
Another chance for Flores. He handles that one cleanly, and there are 2 out. Well, we've got a lot of special treats for you tonight, and one of them is going to be coming up right at the end of this half inning when the pitching coach for AAA Las Vegas, Frank Viola, joins us. And of course, Frank has had so much to do with the development of this remarkable young Mets pitching staff.
Well, I've known Frankie since I was 20 years old. Unfortunately, I met him on the ball field.
You two have your own personal history. Chris Bryant takes the strike. Bryant was on base 3 times last night, 1 for 2 and a walk, but he's been struggling of late. Coghlan hitting cleanup tonight, waiting on deck. And Bryant gets jammed and fouls it off, 1-2.
They've said that's the one pitch, Keith, that's been giving him problems. That ball inside.
Well, all the good hitters, got a nice number, doesn't he? Number 17. Most hitters, you don't like the ball in. You just can't get worried about getting jammed. Fairly close to the plate.
Hit sharply. Tejada on the backhand. The overhand throw is perfect. 3 ground ball outs for Colon to begin the night. So a very strong start for Bartolo. Took him just 9 pitches to negotiate the top of the first inning, and he gets the side in order. And we are joined on the phone from Tacoma, Washington, by the esteemed pitching coach of the Las Vegas 51s, Frank Viola. Frank, it's Gary, Keith, and Rana. How are you? We've heard so much about you over the last few months from all the different pitchers who have come up from AAA. They've all been singing your praises. What is the most important thing that you have done to develop these young pitchers?
I basically stay out of their way. Honestly, I mean, you know, in all seriousness, I mean, each of those guys that have come up have earned it. I mean, they have a work ethic, they have a routine. You know, as Ronnie and Keith know, it's something innate inside of them that, you know, you might have to guide them a little bit, but I mean, they get it. And when you get it, you're going to have a chance. You're going to give yourself the best chance possible, and that's exactly what's happened here. And it's so much fun watching them grow, mature, and get to the point where they're all helping up there now. And it makes the whole staff here in Vegas and the whole organization feel real good about themselves.
Oh, Frank, you must feel great about the success that Steven Matz had in his first start. I was a little surprised how good his changeup is. I know you had a great changeup. I misspoke, I think, because I said Johnny Padres helped you with the changeup, but someone else helped you also, right?
No, you were right. You were spot on, Ryan. It was Johnny. Johnny helped me back in the early 80s. I got up in the big leagues, was basically just a fastball, curveball, maybe an occasional slider type of guy. And then Johnny came. He was my pitching coach. He said, I will tell you this one thing. You learn to change up, it's going to make all the difference in your career. The problem was, it took me around a dozen grips, ended up going back to the original one. Took 2 years to finally get it, but once I got it, my career did take over. The shame of it was Johnny wasn't able to be part of that because he'd been fired already. But, the last thing he said to me before he walked out of the clubhouse after he got fired was, son, don't ever give up on that pitch. It's going to make a difference. And, that's the one good thing about being able to learn something like that. You can teach somebody else. It's just a question of repetition, as you know.
Frank, it's Keith here, and just what everybody's talking about Matz now with that just a terrific opening performance. But you've also worked with Noah Syndergaard, and he's more of a pitcher that's a diamond in the rough. Tremendous fastball. I think he's got a terrific breaking ball, but if he learns to get his secondary pitches over, he's going to be lights out. What did you work with him on when he was in Vegas with you?
Well, the big thing was just, Noah is, first of all, when you go up against the Matt Harvey and the Zach Wheeler, and that's who he was mentioned with before he got called up, you're talking about a college guy in Matt who's so mature for his age, and then the Zach Wheeler who's been through so much. Noah really was a very, very young 21, 22-year-old kid. He basically just needed to mature, figure out who he was. As you mentioned, the big thing for him was he's got a gift from God being able to throw 98 miles an hour and spot that pitch. But as you found out in the Pacific Coast League, if you did not have your secondary pitches, if you did not know when to throw the secondary pitches, you're going to get hit. And last year was a great learning experience for him, but he learned from it. And I think the best thing that happened to Noah was that he didn't get called up at the end of last year because it gave him time during the winter to say, okay, I didn't earn the right to get up to the big leagues. I have to do something different. And his attitude, his mentality, his work ethic, everything changed coming into spring training. As you see, you got a kid that's almost a finished project over the last couple of months because he understood what he needed to do and he went out and learned to do it.
Curtis Granderson with a leadoff hit against John Lester as Ruben Tejada steps in. Frank, we're in an era now where it seems like there are more hard throwers than ever before, certainly compared to when you and Ronnie first started out your professional careers. Does that change at all the dynamic in terms of teaching these young pitchers that they throw so hard as a group?
Well, first of all, I would love to have been able to throw a fastball as hard as any one of these guys does. That's first and foremost. But no, in all honesty, not really, because you still have to have contrast. You throw 95, you still have to have an 82, 83 mile an hour changeup. You have to have a high 70 curveball if you throw that. You have to have a mid-80s slider to be able to offset to 95. I mean, it's still the same. It's relevant, but it's just increased in velocity all the way through. The big thing, and Ronnie will tell you the same thing. Mex is a hitter will tell you the same thing. The big thing is just trying to keep the hitters off balance, trying to keep them off whatever pitch you're trying to set up. And if you're able to do that at any speed you throw, you're going to get a job done.
Frankie, we know you're in AAA, but you know all the pitchers in the minor leagues. For the Mets fans listening tonight, are there any hidden jewels down there that we should consider?
Immediate future, the only name I could probably throw out is Matt Bowman, the Princeton, the kid from Princeton. He's here in AAA. He struggled a little bit earlier this year, but he's learning. He's a kid in spring training who opened up a lot of ice, throwing 5 shutout innings against the Braves at the end of spring training. He's a kid that is on the radar. As you know, you do struggle at different levels of the minor leagues. He has overcome that. He's thrown 3 quality starts his last 3 outings, so he's coming on. And then after that, you got a kid by the name of Sessa in AA. You have Gesellman, who's a young kid that from St. Lucie to Binghamton. I think the one hidden gem is probably a couple, 3 years away. He's a young man by the name of Meisner. He just got called up from Savannah to St. Lucie, a right-handed pitcher around 6'7", 180. This kid has devastating stuff. So hopefully, there are pitches in the radar, but I think what you see is what you get, at least for the short term, and what you got right now is pretty darn good, though.
Hey, Frank, thanks so much for spending some time with us, and congratulations on your success in grooming these guys and getting them to the point that they're at now. It's been remarkable to watch. Thanks.
Well, I don't know if I could get any credit, but if you guys want to give it out, I'll take it. Thanks, guys.
That's the great Frank Viola joining us from Tacoma, Washington tonight, where Las Vegas is getting set to play.
The greatest single laugh in all of baseball. Of all time.
Cackle.
And a direct hit on the mask of David Ross, the 38-year-old is catching for the second straight night. We didn't have enough time, but it must give Frank a really good sense that he's,
he's giving. And I know when I came up in the minor leagues with the Cardinals, Ken Boyer was there, Bob Milliken, who was a pitcher for the Cardinals. There was all laden, Dal Maxfield, all laden with ex-major leaguers, Joe Medwick. And you learn a lot from the major leaguers because they've been there. They got a lot of, Tejada goes down. They got a lot of lessons they can teach you.
Meanwhile, look at the defense the Cubs played against Curtis Granderson. Have you ever seen a third baseman play in that spot against Curtis?
I've never seen it, Keith. Have you?
I think that's crazy because Curtis bunt. Why have the first baseman in too? I don't get it. Everybody's a genius today. I'm sorry.
And Granderson was able to hit it right by Rizzo and get that leadoff hit. Now Lester with a strikeout. Now he takes on Lucas Duda.
That is nuts. I mean, I could maybe see it against Vince Coleman and Ozzie Smith and that team.
Duda hitting .354 against lefties this year. Here is your Citi starting lineup for the Mets tonight. John Mayberry gets the start with Michael Kadire out at least a couple of days after getting a cortisone injection in his ailing left knee. Pitcher hits ninth tonight with Colon on the mound. 1-0 to Duda with Granderson on first. And Lester goes to that cutter, 1-1.
Well, Lester has always dominated lefties in his career, not this year. So that should bode better for Lucas Duda.
Coming into this season, lefties were hitting .243 against Lester in his career. This year, .319. It's a huge jump.
That's a lot.
Shot on Ross's mask.
They gave him a lot of loot to be 4-6 at this point. I'm going to take a look at your Citi Cub defense. Coughlin, Baxter. There's Big Mike out in right field getting a start. The ex-Met. This is that infield that everybody's raving about. No one older than 25 on that infield. And David Ross, the veteran, behind the plate.
1-2 to Duda with Murphy on deck. And he takes strike three called. So back-to-back strikeouts for Lester after the leadoff hit from Granderson.
Well, it's a pitcher's pitch right there. It's flat. It wasn't a big a breaker. Just seeing Lucas kind of going back to his old ways. I know as Murphy steps up to the plate, I really swung the bat well last night. Is that Duda is not identifying the changeup. I think starting to get back into that taking too much mode, trying to see the becoming too defensive. I don't have the answers. It's been a prolonged slump.
Now Murphy 1 for 4 in his return to the lineup last night after missing 22 games with a quad injury, and he takes a curveball outside from Lester. Well, what of John Lester? 6 years, $155 million was supposed to transform this Cubs rotation, but he's been kind of a weak link so far. There goes Granderson. It's pulled down to first. Rizzo will make the play easily, and that retires the side. We've played one at Citi Field with no score. One of Citi's key community initiatives once again this season is Citi Community Home Runs Program. Every time a Mets player hits a home run at Citi Field this season, Citi donates $2,000 to a local community partner. Curtis Granderson, Citi's brand ambassador for Citi Community Home Runs, caught up with Steve Gelbs earlier this week to discuss the importance of the program.
All right, Curtis, you've teamed up again this year with Citi for the Citi Community Home Runs Program. What is this program?
It's a great program where every home run we hit at home here at Citi Field, we get a chance to benefit one of the four major partners that Citi has partnered up with: USO, Citi Harvest, United Neighborhood Housing, and YMCA, which has been actually some great groups to get a chance to be a part of. Even though we're the New York Mets and we get a chance to play this great game of baseball, we don't exist if it's not for the community out here. Every time we score a run over the fence, one, we're helping ourselves win a ball game. Two, $2,000 is getting donated to one of these great organizations. And three, it gets a chance for us to give back to a great organization that is part of this community, that is part of our fan base, and we as the New York Mets organization get a chance to help out with.
That interview conducted earlier with Curtis Granderson, and now live and in color, it's Steve Gelbs. Steve?
Thanks, Gary. Here with Edward Riley, member of the board of directors for USO Metropolitan New York. Edward, what is USO Metropolitan New York for people that don't know, and how has this program helped you out?
Well, the U.S. has always been around since the Second World War. Our mission is to serve the troops and families, lift their spirits, as they defend our country around the world.
And how has this program helped you guys out?
This is a great program. Citi donates $2,000 for every home run a Mets player hits at home. And so far this year, they've donated $10,000 to our cause and a total of $70,000 to a group of 4 charities altogether.
It's a great program, great cause, Edward. Thanks so much.
Thanks.
Gary, back to you.
All right, thanks, Steve. And so far this year, the Citi Community Home Runs program has raised $70,000. Chris Coughlin leads off the second inning for Chicago against Bartolo Colon, who went easily through the Cubs in the first inning. The Mets are having offensive woes. Well, so are the Cubs. They've scored just 8 runs in their last 7 games. They had lost 5 in a row coming into this series, and their last 2 wins have both come by 1-0 scores.
Well, that's why it's unusual when you saw the lineup today, Joe Madden's lineup, you saw Chris Coughlin as the cleanup hitter.
And he hits a ground ball. That's 4 in a row for Colon. Flores throws out Coughlin for the first out in the second.
Well, you can see early, Gary and Keith, that Colon has got that ball down. He's got it sinking, and it's producing these ground balls. And you talked about the defense in the pregame, Keith. Very important if you're getting those ground balls.
It's absolutely true. When you got a pitcher that puts the ball in play, particularly a ground ball pitcher, you want to have your best defense. You remember when Sid pitched, Davey would throw Howard at shortstop because Sid threw all the fly balls.
Right.
Here's Starlin Castro. 0 for 2 last night. Did draw a couple of walks, a rarity for him. And he takes a strike from Colon, who has walked the fewest per 9 innings of any pitcher in the National League. Castro at .258, having a rather disappointing year. And he takes just off the plate, 1-1. You know, we've talked a lot about the Mets' 6-man rotation and the benefits that it accrues to the young pitchers in terms of protecting their innings. There has not been a whole lot of talk about how that benefit might accrue to Bartolo Colon, and it seems to me that at age 42, he might benefit the most in terms of performance from the 6-man rotation.
You know, you think you look at it that way, and it's an automatic that at 42, more rest is going to be better from Colon. But remember,
that's shot over the bag. That's a fair ball off the sidewall. The ball boy does a nice job getting out of the way, and Castro sliding into second base with a 1-out double.
Barely got out of the way. Looking to go the opposite field all the way. Ball belt high up. You can see he was totally committed to the opposite field. Get out of the way. Almost got him.
Zigged and then had to zag. That is only the 13th extra base hit of the season for Starlin Castro. In 299 at bats.
You know, getting back to Bartolo, I think of all the pitchers in the staff, 6-man rotation, he's the veteran. I think he's the one that's going to adjust easier because he's been through it. The young kids are chomping at the bit. They want to pitch every 5th day, what they've been trained to do. I think Bartolo is going to be, it will benefit him, and he'll also be able to make the adjustment. There's the hero a couple days ago.
Steven Matz pitched Sunday, which means with an off day he gets next Sunday in Los Angeles. The 6-man rotation plus the off day, a full week for these guys between starts. The former Met Mike Baxter hits one in the air to left center field. Easy for Lagares. Mayberry almost got in his way. Castro tagging. He's going to take the extra base, and teams are starting to take liberties against Juan Lagares that they never would have conceived of last year.
Well, and yeah, he just kind of got caught going back, and it's just good base running right there. And you're right, Gary. The word gets around that his arm with his elbow issues, people are starting to take extra bases.
This has as much to do with his arm as it was the way he caught the baseball, though, too.
Now with the pitcher batting 8th, David Ross in the 7-hole will be intentionally walked, and we saw this play out in yesterday's game as well. Ross was walked in the 6th inning in front of Kyle Hendricks. Now he's walked in front of John Lester, who is 0 for 64 in his major league career.
If you're not going to walk a hitter here, I mean, this is the place you have to.
Well, here's the thing. The law of averages. At some point, John Lester has got to get a hit. He's already got the longest stretch of hitless at bats at the start of his career in major league history.
And you would think that if he had a chance to be a guy against a guy like Colon who doesn't throw 95 plus.
Now, why in the world, if you're Joe Madden and you're not playing Addison Russell, who's your normal number 9 hitter, why would you bat Lester 8th today?
The only reason I can think of is that Herrera gets a couple of bats, and if you got a lead, Addison Russell comes in later in the game, takes Herrera's spot, and is in his comfortable 9th spot. That's the only way I can think of it.
Lester 0 for 28 this year, 0 for 64 in his career. Jonathan Herrera, the switch hitter, on deck. First and third and 2 out. No score in the second.
Oh for 64, gee.
That's
He has 1 walk, 35 strikeouts, 1 RBI.
Who walked him?
In that 0 for 64.
Whoever walked him is fined.
Runner goes from first. They're trying to maybe induce the Mets to throw through and steal a run, but the Mets are not going to do that. And Ross has a free stolen base.
So if he gets a little dork or a flare here, it's going to be 2 runs.
Lester not looking inclined to take the bat off his shoulder. 1 and 2. By the way, for David Ross, his first stolen base attempt of the season. 38 years old, and now he's got himself a bag. Lester puts a good swing on it.
That swing is not that bad to be 0 for 64.
Well, the outfield defense is shaded to the opposite field. Not shaded. Look at Mayberry down the left field line. He and Lagares, all the outfielders, very shallow. Granderson a little bit deeper.
Colon trying to put an end to this inning. Lester jumping back. Two-seamer wouldn't bend back, and it's 2 and 2. The one guy who walked him, you wanted to know.
Yes.
Guillermo Mota.
Oh, my favorite.
Oh, I knew you'd like that. 2-2 from Colon to Lester. A half swing. He went around, strike 3. And so John Lester is now 0 for 65. Middle of the second. Mets and Cubs, no score. Of Citi. Just follow at SNYTV on Twitter. John Mayberry will lead off for the Mets in the home second against John Lester. Mayberry getting his 17th start of the season. So Michael Cuddyer felt his knee tighten up a little bit running to first base his first at bat last night. Played through the 6th inning and then had to take himself out of the game. He had an MRI today, which gave him the best possible news. No structural damage, just a little bit of a strain. Got an injection today of cortisone and another that he called a lubricant. He likened it to WD-40.
That's a very good product.
Those of us who've had 36-year-old knees understand that sometimes need a little tune-up.
It's a little bit like the Tin Man.
Exactly right.
My knee. And for all you folks out there that don't know, that cortisone is a anti-inflammatory, and it's injected, and if you miss the spot, it doesn't do anything. It has to be, the needle has to go in right, and when you let out, depress the needle and inject the cortisone, it has to be in the localized area of your injury, otherwise it's not going to work. And if you get the localized area, it is a miracle drug. I mean, it will get rid of inflammation.
Mayberry drills one into left field, and that's going to go all the way to the corner. John Mayberry pulls in with his 4th double of the year.
Fastball in on top of the plate. Mayberry, that's a cutter actually. Mayberry likes that ball middle in and up.
And a quick bat.
That was very good. Let me tell you.
Well, you know, John Mayberry was brought here to be the primary bat off the bench against lefties, get starts against lefties, but he hasn't hit lefties. So that's a very encouraging sign, particularly with Lester and his really good cutter that gets right-hand hitters out. Corners in against Wilmer Flores as though he's going to be bunting. I don't think that's going to happen. It's a very interesting infield defense that the Cubs have played early in this game.
In at the corners, a lot of extremes here on the defensive side. I can understand the Mets have been struggling to score runs, but this is one of their guys with 10 home runs. You want him swinging the bat.
Not only that, but the Met position players have been so dreadful at bunting this year. There's no way in the world that Terry's going to ask them to do that. As Flores
off the knee,
bangs that.
Oh
one
yes.
Off what was that? The thigh or the knee? That
above the knee.
Yeah.
You know, what's interesting is that he has a knee pad on his left knee, but it missed it. See a little pad on his left knee, but he hits it right off his inside thigh.
Yeah, a little above the knee. So that's a lot of.
So it's meat.
Yeah.
You get it off the patella, that hurts.
Mayberry at second, nobody out. Kevin Plawecki on deck.
You know, I was just thinking, guys, sorry to interrupt. Maybe why they're playing in is because of the inability of John Lester to be able to throw the baseball. Maybe they've got to play in case there is a bunt or anything. They've got to get the ball out of his hands.
That's giving up too much on the infield, Ron, in my opinion.
Yeah. And if you wonder what Ronnie's talking about, Lester, he doesn't throw to first base when there's a runner on it. I was surprised Granderson didn't try to steal. Everybody's been stealing on him at every opportunity this year. He's given up 20 stolen bases in his first 15 starts.
If you bunt on him, he doesn't like to throw the ball to first. He has all of those little quirks that some pitchers have throwing the bases.
And Flores trying to take one the other way, fouls it off. Well, this has not been his entire career, right? This is just something that's developed the last couple of seasons.
Well, you know, in that AL East, there's no one stealing in that league anyway for a long time when he was with Boston.
Well, you remember last year he was traded at the deadline from Boston to Oakland and helped get the A's into the postseason. And the curveball strikes out Flores for his third strikeout of the night. So Flores fails to advance the run.
And remember, when the Mets got off to the hot start, they were doing the little things. They were getting runners over. With lead-off double, you can almost book the fact that they advanced the runner. They're not doing it now. They're not executing.
So one out. Mayberry at second, and Kevin Plawecki comes up. Plawecki 1 for 3 last night. Getting back to Lester, you know, he pitched in that wild card game against Kansas City last year, and if you remember, he had a 4-run lead going to the bottom of the 8th, and a couple of guys got on for the Royals that inning, and even though Kansas City was down by 4 runs in the 8th, the time that you never run, Ned Yost had his team run, and they eventually scored 3 in the 8th. Lester left the game, 1 in the 9th, and won the game in the 12th inning.
And I'd have to say them running on a Lester rattled him in that inning.
He left with the bases loaded, a 7-4 lead, and it only got worse from there. I mean, part of that was because that was Kansas City's game, you know, bringing Gerard Dyson off the bench and all that. But you have to think that nobody's going to run in that situation unless there's a pitcher that they know they can abuse.
Well, they can abuse, and also remember Derek Norris was catching, so he's a guy that's known more as an offensive catcher. So that both of those things worked in Kansas City's favor.
Easier to steal off a left-hander with a poor move than a right-hander with a poor move.
0-2 to Plawecki, and the breaking ball fouled off. But Keith, you know, you're down 4 runs in the 8th.
Right, you don't run.
Running.
So that's just an extreme, right?
And that was part of the Royals' extraordinary run to the World Series.
Some great advanced scouting. That's what that is.
Yeah. They came from behind in regulation, then they came from behind in the 12th inning. It was something. Line into right field. Plawecki's got a hit. For some reason, Mayberry didn't read it well, and he has to stop at third.
I think he did the right thing, Garrett. Ball hit line drive. Not sure if it was high enough. Don't want to get doubled up. Plawecki goes the other way, nice, stays level. Although that was a kind of a, should have known that was going to be a base hit. But once he makes that hesitation, more than a hesitation, he's not going to score.
So now 1st and 3rd and 1 out, and Juan Lagares comes up. Mets never got a runner to third base all night last night. In fact, they had just 4 base runners in the game, 3 hits and a walk. So an early opportunity here for the struggling Lagares. 2 for his last 32. 4 for 3 last night.
Under everything, Gary.
Mayberry at third. And he skips out and he gets hit on the foot. And Lagares is hit by the pitch, and the bases are loaded, and Juan's a little shaken.
On the foot. Oh, ankle, inner ankle. That's bone. It hurts.
I've been right on that ankle bone, and Ray Ramirez, the trainer, out to take a look.
Yeah, that's a little anklage.
I mean, that'll drop you.
Now, the day that when you never let a pitcher know that he hurt you, I guess those days are over.
Well, that one right there, Keith.
It hurt, but still, you got to try to.
I don't know how you masked that one.
You try.
He's walking a little better now as he gets closer to the bag, but
this one hurts.
Right on that ankle.
Yep, inner bone.
That's only the 2nd batter John Lester has hit this season.
It'll look like a mandarin orange tomorrow.
Well, that one definitely got Lagares more than the other one the other night. They got Tejada that grazed him.
That's already down an outfielder with Michael Kadire having to sit out the next couple of days after that cortisone shot in his knee. The last thing they could afford is to lose Lagares. And he reassures Terry and Ray Ramirez that he's okay. So now it's Colon to bat with the bases loaded, and I'm afraid that on the Mets pitching staff, Bartolo has now been superseded as the most exciting at bat in baseball. But he's got an opportunity for some big things here.
Well, it sets the stage.
Mayberry, Plawecki, and Lagares aboard for Colon, who has 4 hits and 3 RBIs this year.
Rizzo in at the corner, the only corner infielder in, left-hander. If possible, squeeze. I don't ever like to squeeze with the bases loaded.
Can't imagine they'd squeeze with Colon. He takes a rip. Often he's up there looking early in the ball game, but not this time. Almost knocked his helmet off. Not quite.
I think he's got a tighter helmet because it has not been coming off like it was before.
Maybe he just grew his hair. Little looper into shallow right center. Baxter comes over to get it, and Mayberry is not going to try it. Colon made some contact, but unable to get the run in.
Ronnie, pet peeve time, Ronnie. Yeah. Lester didn't back up home.
I mean, anything could happen there. I mean, not a bad at bat by Colon. Make some contact. But the outfielders are playing so shallow, Keith.
No chance for anybody to score on that one.
So it's left to Granderson, who singled into right field his first time up. Bases loaded, 2 down. Granderson has a couple of home runs in his career against Lester and 41 career at bats. Plenty of matchups between these two in that Yankee-Red Sox rivalry.
Okay, they got to get it together.
Ross has caught Lester's every start this year. He's been his personal catcher. That's why he's in there tonight.
It's one of the reasons he was signed over the winter.
Tonight's Mets Plus telecast on SNY is brought to you by Citi, proud partner of the New York Mets. Bases loaded, 2 down. And Granderson takes outside, ball 1.
Big shift on the right side of the infield. Castro up the middle. Not playing in this time with 2 outs.
And Lester gets the call on the inside, 1-1.
That was a mistake pitch. He's not trying to throw it inside. He just left it on the inside corner.
Back up cutter or slider.
One and 1 to Granderson. And Curtis hits it in the air to center. Easy for Fowler. And the Mets strand 3. So Lester able to get himself out of a jam. No score after 2. Earlier today we had the opportunity to sit down with Dermot Bowden, Citi's chief brand officer, to learn about Citi's small business call-ups program.
At Citi, we believe in people with big ideas, ideas for their communities, their families, their businesses. We call these people progress makers. And here at Citi Field, we have a program, Citi Small Business Call-Ups, which represents what we mean by enabling progress makers. In this program, 4 restaurants will have the chance to come to Citi Field in the second half of the season and showcase the great talents and skills that they have. The fans have been voting over the last few days and weeks, and tonight we'll be announcing the winner of this program. This is progress.
Oh, take me out to the ball game. Take me to Citi Field. Buy me some crepes with Gruyere cheese, or a sandwich from Randolph. Please let me choose stuffed bagels with cream cheese, or Zengo's Latin Asian cuisine. For there'll be one of these 4 restaurants at the old ball game.
Let's send it down to Steve Gelb. Steve?
Thanks, Gary. Here with the Director of Small Business Banking for Citi, Rob Kleiber. And, Rob, you have a special announcement to make.
Yes. Here at Citi, we're proud to support small businesses throughout the U.S. We are proud to team up with the New York Mets and the Citi Business Call-Up Program. On behalf of Citi, we'd like to congratulate Randolph Beer for being called up to the majors.
Randolph Beer, and we've got 3 representatives from Randolph Beer. We're going to talk with Dave Plate right here. They're going to have a hub out here in center field. And Dave, when you got the word that you were being called up, what was that moment like?
It was great. You know, we're honored. Just to be chosen is amazing. The opportunity for the exposure that we're going to get from this is unbelievable. Our whole company is psyched. This is truly a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity that Citi and the Mets are giving us, and we couldn't be happier about it.
And you've got some stuff going up to the booth for the guys?
There's a couple jerk chicken po' boys on their way up, yeah. I haven't tasted it yet myself, but chef tells me they're awesome, so...
We'll be the judge of that. All right. Gary, Keith, Ron, you'll be the judge of that, I should say.
Yes, in fact, the jerk chicken po' boys from Randolph Beer have just arrived as Jonathan Herrera leads off in the 3rd, slices one down the left field line, and that ball falls fair. Bounces up against the sidewall in play. Herrera takes a turn at second and holds on with a leadoff double. So Herrera taking one the other way, well beyond the reach of Mayberry, and just fair.
Took a funny carom here. Herrera has always been a thorn in the Mets' side.
Always. Back to his days with Colorado.
That's right.
So the second hit for the Cubs, they've both been doubles. And now Colon has to face the top of the batting order with the runner at second base. So Randolph Beer's on Broome Street in Nolita. They serve soulful American gastropub food. And they have a new location in center field at FanFest. And we have here the makings from the Randolph Beer Kitchen. The
nice
jerk chicken po' boy with marinated chicken thighs, cilantro, garlic aioli.
Gruyere cheese, Gary.
Gruyere.
The
Always
chips.
nice to have Gruyere.
Let's not neglect the chips.
Well,
the chips are very spicy.
See, Keith went straight for the chips. There was no stopping by at the sandwich. It was chips first, sandwich later.
No collecting $200, nothing. Straight to it.
See, now here's the problem with all this food arriving in our booth right now. This is a very special broadcast that we have tonight. And
right.
It's not the first time we've had food delivered to the booth, but this broadcast features limited commercial interruption, which means that
we can't eat it.
We can't eat it between innings
well,
because we're still.
Just give it to Al.
You know what we can do? We take turns, and Ronnie, you pick me up.
I think Keith had a game plan going in. 2-0 to Fowler with Rizzo on deck, and Colon finds a strike.
Boy, those chips are hot. Woo.
Should have warned you.
They're delicious.
It certainly smells good. I want to be diving in.
No diving on in the broadcast.
Murphy in at third against the threat of the bunt. Fowler broke his bat and grounded out to second his first time up. And he does try to bunt and misses, and it's 2-2. This has not been as good a year for Fowler as he's had in the past. Lifetime .361 on base percentage out of the leadoff spot. This year just .312. He's hit a few more home runs, and maybe that's the problem. Two coming, and he bangs one off his leg, a foul ball.
Interesting how Colon, with 2 strikes, knows that Fowler is no longer going to bunt, and how he attacked him right there inside. The easiest ball to pull for me, I'm a left-hand hitter, so I can relate here. I want that sinker out over the plate. It's easy to bring your top hand over and hit it to the right side of the infield and advance the runner, or if not, drive him in. Bartolo knows what he's doing.
Rousing up to 92 there against Fowler. All right, so I tasted the chicken between pitches.
Yeah.
It's very nicely spiced.
How did you do that?
Very small piece.
Did you press your mute button, your cough button?
I did not.
Because I didn't hear you chewing.
I'm chewing right now.
I think you were talking about how it's easier to pull the outside pitch. I think that's when he did it.
It's all about timing, kid. Years of experience. Full count to Fowler, 3-2. Biggest danger is getting the chicken residue on Ronnie's scorebook right now.
That's all right.
I don't want to do.
You're hungry.
You put good food in front of me, it will always be consumed.
Like our producer, Greg, my God,
he doesn't even require the good part.
Bottomless pit.
8th pitch of the at bat to Fowler, and he struck him out. Big strikeout for Colon for the first out of the inning.
Again, that fastball inside, Keith, just catches that inside corner.
Yep.
So 1 out. Herrera still at second. Now Anthony Rizzo, who grounded out to Flores his first time up.
Well, we were talking about both these teams struggling to score. The Mets with Flores up and Mayberry on second, not able to advance him. Same with the Cubs, not able to advance with Fowler, with Herrera on second and nobody out. Little things.
And Colon straightens up Rizzo, who didn't necessarily think that was a strike. 0-1.
There's a reason Rizzo's been hit 15 times. He dives into the plate.
And he's on top of the plate.
He's a big-bodied guy, and he's not moving.
It's always a special feeling when Lester and Rizzo were in the lineup together for the Cubs. They shared such an incredible bond. John Lester was first introduced to Anthony Rizzo when they were both in the Red Sox organization. Rizzo was 18 years old. It was in 2008. 2 years after Lester had been diagnosed with cancer, Rizzo was diagnosed with cancer. And Rizzo said it was the most phenomenal thing that anybody had ever done for him. As he lifts one to left field, should be easy for Mayberry. And that's the second out. Lester took 35 minutes of his time for a kid that he didn't know at all. Yeah. Just happened to be another ball player who he felt a bond with. And I think that Rizzo has appreciated that ever since. And now here they are reunited this year with the Cubs.
Well, I think one of the things that I know meant a lot to Anthony is that, John came back from it and became a star in the league. So he knew that this was a battle he could win.
2 out. Herrera still at second. Colon a chance to get through the inning, but he's got to get through Chris Bryant, who grounded out to short his first time up. When we're done with this half inning, we'll have Terry Collins live on headset from the Mets dugout for a between innings interview.
It just hasn't been an easy season for Terry here to keep this club together. All the adversity, the injuries.
And yet the Mets still above water. 2 games over 500, 3.5 games out of first place. And Terry just waiting for that spark to fire. I was hoping that getting Murphy back last night might be the impetus. Colon behind on Bryant 2-0 with Coghlan on deck. Is this a pitch around situation?
This is a pitch closely situation because Bryant has all that power. So you wouldn't be surprised if you see a 2-0 little slider here from Colon, or tries to dot that outside corner.
You got to be careful with Coghlan. He's having a good year against right-handers. He's got 8 home runs against righties this year, hitting .270 against right-handers.
Bryant goes after that little cutter, 2-1.
There's that swing that's I wouldn't teach. Drop the back shoulder, uppercut swing, let go with one hand, trying to hit the fly ball.
Well, we were talking about that last night. I mean, how might a pitcher exploit that if you know you've got a guy up there who's just looking to hit the ball in the air?
Well, I think all good power hitters want extension. They want the ball middle of the plate away. Where they're vulnerable has always been inside.
And Colon promptly comes inside and falls behind 3-1.
I mean, there's been a lot of unorthodox hitters over the year with unorthodox swings that work for them. So I learned a long time ago not to pass judgment. Not everybody can swing the bat as beautifully as a Cargo in Denver. Some people have different ugly swings, and this is not a pretty swing.
Full count to Bryant.
When we first saw Bryant in Chicago, we saw him hitting the ball the other way with great proficiency. But that's something, there's a pitch he missed right there where he's trying to go to the right side.
Well, he's a rookie. He hasn't proved anything yet. He had a great spring training. He's done well since coming up. But really, he's untested.
That's not very deep in the outfield against the powerful Bryant. 3-2 from Colon. He just got a piece of that fastball.
I mean, this is the one sport, baseball, where there's no guarantees when you think you've got a lock down in the minor leagues, or particularly a #1 draft pick. Football and basketball, it's almost an automatic. In baseball, it's not. Hitting that baseball is very difficult.
And the one thing those two guys at the top of the list, Peterson, who we'll see this weekend, and Bryant have in common, they've both struck out a ton, despite their early success. Colon working hard in this third inning. On the outside corner, he gets Bryant looking, side retired. Clint Fagan, the young home plate umpire, in discussion with the rookie Bryant. And Colon able to work around the leadoff double just the way Lester did in the last half inning. And Terry Collins joins us from the Mets dugout. Terry, it's Gary, Keith, and Ron up in the booth. Terry, when you've got a team that's struggling offensively the way yours is, you try to be as positive as possible. But do you almost, as a manager, feel powerless when your guys just aren't making contact the way you want them to?
Well, I mean, you're powerless because it's up to them. I mean, what you got to do is just try to continue to build their confidence, continue to, have them prepare themselves the right way, have an idea of what's coming, have an idea of, the approach they've got to have in certain situations. But when they go out there, it's about them. I mean, they're the ones who have to execute it, and you can't get in their heads. You've got to let them figure it out.
Terry, with the club struggling so much offensively, and I know it's just been, you're probably sick of hearing it, but if you go home at night, do you find yourself trying to juggle in different lineup combinations to try to make something happen?
You do. I mean, we come in every day, and I sit with a couple of my coaches, my hitting coach, my bench coach, and we write 3 or 4 lineups up to see what works. And, ultimately it's about we got to get some guys on base, and, the guys who are getting on are the guys you got to hit at the top of the order because you got to try to bunch somebody together that's going to try to score some runs. But, yeah, we've looked at a lot of different things, but nothing's working, I can tell you.
Terry, on the positive side, you've been in baseball your entire life. Have you ever seen the kinds of arms you've seen come up to your ball club?
Never, Ronnie. I mean, I've been doing this since my 45th year in professional baseball, and I've seen a lot of teams and a lot of places. I've never seen the kind of arms that we've brought up in the last 2 years. I mean, the future is so bright here, it's unbelievable.
Terry, thanks so much. We
All right,
appreciate
guys.
it.
You bet. Okay, Gary.
All right, Terry Collins joining us from the Mets dugout live in the middle of the third. And Ruben Tejada will lead off the bottom of the third after the Mets left the bases loaded in the second. Tejada, after swinging the bat extremely well when being added to the lineup a couple of weeks ago, has really cooled down. 0 for his last 13, 2 for his last 30 after striking out against Lester his first time up.
Well, Ruben's always a guy that sits down for a while, comes back strong, has a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks, and then seems to cool off. It's been.
He strokes one toward the middle of the diamond. Herrera with the jumping throw, and he gets him. Beautifully done by Jonathan Herrera for the first out.
Playing Ruben up the middle. Nice backhand, nice throw. It's a major league play. Nicely done.
So I guess the bottom line when you talk about Tejada, Keith, he's in the lineup now at shortstop because he's the best defensive shortstop the Mets can put out there. But long term, does he profile more as a utility guy, which is what his role was when this year began?
Well, he certainly does. It's going to keep him in the big leagues. And the fact that he plays a decent third base. We've seen him at third base now, and he's very competent at third. So he's an infielder that can play all 3 positions. Which is going to be very valuable for him. It's going to keep him in the big leagues. I think that Ruben's probably a backup player. You can platoon depending on what you got, your personnel.
Duda goes around in the half swing, and it's 0-2 to Lucas.
Of note, what Terry said, and we discussed this, and it doesn't factor in tonight's game, Gary, because Kadayer's out. I talked to you about hitting Flores second.
Right.
And Terry said getting everybody up in the top of the order to bunch them all together. And with, in particular, what we're seeing now with Votto hitting second and Rizzo hitting second and all the sabermetrics at the 2-hole is such an important position in the lineup that it gets more opportunities to drive in runs. Why have Tejada there? Why not put Flores there?
Right into the shift. Play made by Herrera for the second out.
I agree, with everybody being hurt so much, to bunch your guys up in the top of the order.
Well, remember when the year began, the Mets had David Wright hitting second.
Correct. So I have to. I'm not fully. I'm open to the 2-hole with your big power hitter or one of your RBI guys. I've got to see it. I don't mind it so much when you have a 9th hitter that's not the pitcher, and I have no problem with Lagares being the 9 hitter.
Murphy bloops one. Castro back. Coughlin in. And Coughlin with the sliding grab to end the inning. Lester gets a couple of nice plays made behind him for his first 1-2-3 inning of the night. Chris Coughlin, always known for a good glove in the outfield, going back to his Rookie of the Year days with the Marlins. Makes a nice play to take a blue pit away from Daniel Murphy. So no scores. We go to the fourth. Leicester and Cologne, both of whom have really needed a good start. Both off to a good beginning so far tonight. A scoreless game after 3.
Well, here we are, a little more of the same. Both teams still struggling to score runs. We're only three runs in. Both teams have had opportunities to score. Both teams have had runners on second base with nobody out, failed to execute at-bats. The little things that teams do when they're going bad, they don't get it done, and it costs them. So we're seeing a lot of this right now. Both teams in a rut.
You know, for the Mets, they don't have a lot of team speed, and so reluctant to run. And you get a pitcher like Lester, who's so vulnerable to the stolen base. Where's the nub there? Do you run against him and be a little more reckless than you would normally be?
Well, I think you certainly have guys in the lineup. Lagares can certainly run. A left-hander, to me, you can steal on him because when he comes up, you can take a chance he's going home, and you'll get a great jump. Lester's slow going home. There's no one getting on base right now. I mean, Terry, even if he wanted to hit and run, there hasn't been too many opportunities. The team has just been so struggling just to get anything going. And, you know, what are you going to do? I always believe that when hitters are slumping, I think, and the hit and run is a thing of the past. That always helped me get out of a slump because I had to really focus and make contact. And that doesn't mean that I became a little, punch hitter. I took a good cut, but I really had to make sure that I made contact to protect the runner. It made me swing.
There are your Citi probables for tomorrow. That's quite a pitching matchup. Jacob deGrom, who's been the Mets' best starter this year, goes up against Jake Arrieta, who, along with Jason Hamill, has been the Cubs' best starter so far this year. Chris Coghlan leads off in the fourth inning for Chicago. Coghlan grounded out his first time up. Coghlan cast in the unlikely role of cleanup hitter tonight. Now 30 years old. In his second year with the Cubs. Had a good season for Chicago last year. He had really floundered after winning that Rookie of the Year with the Marlins in 09.
Yep. He had 321 that first year, right?
And then never came close to that. But he's really resurrected his career in Chicago. 1-2 to Coghlan. Castro and Baxter to follow for Chicago in the fourth. The Cubs have 2 hits. The Mets have 3. Cologne ahead 1-2. And just missed outside.
Yeah, they found a place for Coghlan, and he's not an everyday player. He's a platoon player. You bat him against right-handers. Starlin Castro right there on deck.
And yet valuable enough off the bench and in the field that he's playing in his 140th consecutive game. Longest current streak in the major leagues. Right now, let's send it out to the bullpen where Ron Darling's standing by.
Hi, guys. I think sometimes we tend to forget about the bullpen coach because he's so far down here. But former All-Star 1994 Ricky Bonas. I think we got to start at the bottom or the end of your bullpen. Jerry Reese Familia has been awesome.
I can't complain. We've been blessed having those kind of arms back here, but Familia doing extremely a great job for us, and he's day in, day out. He's ready to go, and with a powerful fastball and powerful sinker, he gets people out.
What have you seen so far from Bobby Parnell and his comeback?
It's impressive because day in, day out, and slowly he's getting back to the Bobby Parnell that we normally do know. And he's coming back. He had the fastball slowly coming, but he's now related on his movement and breaking ball. So he's a great addition to the bullpen.
Has he changed any of his routine since he's come back?
No, it's been the same Bobby. It's been the same Bobby. We do long toss. We get in the mound every day and throw a little bit, and stay in his delivery every day.
We talk about the guys that are having a good year. How about the guys that are struggling sometimes? What's the hardest part to rebuild their confidence when they're down here in the pen?
I think he's trying to get him on the daily routine away from the game, so get him in the bullpen, throw every other day, get him back in the zone, and trying to ease into the roles they normally been used to.
The Phillies the other day left the phone off the hook. They could not get a reliever up. What's the craziest thing that ever happened to you in the bullpen?
I think, Ronnie, that's my biggest fear. I mean, not being able to answer the phone or not get the guys ready. But for the most part, Langy and Racanello, they help me out a lot, and the guys stay tuned. We got a good relationship here and build something good, and everybody is looking up.
Who's the crazy guy in the bullpen for you guys?
I would guess the Carlos Torres get everybody going and keep everybody in tune, and we got great conversations going and always paying attention to the game.
Well, thank you very much, Ricky. Back up to you, Gary and Keith.
All right, thanks, Ronnie. That's great stuff.
Yes.
Ronnie's right. The bullpen coach is the forgotten guy because he's out there, and the bullpen's almost a team unto itself.
Well, you got to realize too that the bullpen's out there. Those guys have a lot of dead time out there, and you got to have a coach out there that keeps a little bit of order. I have a very funny memory in 1984. I don't remember Brent Gaff. He was called from Frank Howard called to get him up, and he wasn't in the bullpen, and they had to go search for him. I won't tell you where they found him, but it was one of the most hilarious things that happened in my career. And boy, we let Brent have it for around a week after that.
Mike Baxter at the plate with 2 out and nobody on. Mike, as you would expect, back at Citi Field, has a ton of family and friends on hand.
Well, the big catch in the no-hitter from Mr. Santana. Baxter will always be remembered.
It really set his career back a couple of years. He fractured his sternum and suffered injuries the likes of which most players don't suffer, and as a consequence not only couldn't play for a while, couldn't lift for a long time. It really affected his strength, and it's taken him really until now to work his way back to being a productive big league player.
Very close to similar to the catch that Rusty Staub made up from. Rusty separated his shoulder in '73, right center field fence at Old Shea, and that fence, I don't know how it withstood Rusty's force.
It was not padded then.
Was not, is right.
(3-2) in the air to center field, easy for Lagares. And Colon has himself a 1-2-3 inning. He's retired 6 in a row. The zeros continue at Citi Field.
Competition that came down to the final question. Now, Gary Cohn and Howie Rose return to challenge a new duo of Mets superfans in a fierce battle of Mets trivia on Beat the Booth, presented by Citi, of course, tonight after the post-game show, only on SNY.
Well, where else would they show?
Did you guys happen to watch last night?
I missed it.
It got a little tense down there at the end.
Did you wake up to the storm in the middle of the morning, about 4:30 in the morning? Did it hit you out there in Connecticut?
A little rain.
It hit the city.
We might have lost power for a
Oh,
while.
we got slammed. I mean, it was 2 waves that came through, and thunder and lightning woke me up at 4:30 in the morning.
John Mayberry doubled down the left field line. He cranks one deep, but fouled. In the neighborhood of the Acela Club, 1-2.
Keeps trying to pound him in with that cutter. But, you know, when it's that far in, there's nothing you can do as a hitter to keep it fair.
So Howie and I got the close victory last night. Now, you guys are former athletes. When you win the first game of a series, do you worry about overconfidence the next day?
You can't get big-headed. So I hope you maintain.
Another one hit to left by Mayberry. Coughlin hurrying back, and he makes a terrific catch. Well, Coughlin made a nice play coming in on Murphy, and this time going back against Mayberry.
Well, nice play. And that's something you won't read about in the paper. Defense is underrated.
So 1 out and nobody on now. Wilmer Flores. I do want to credit the guys we competed against last night. The duo from Bayonne. They were outstanding.
Really.
There was a point. You don't know what it looks like till you watch it back. After the first round, Howie and I were behind. We both looked scared. I mean, like, oh boy, these guys are good. We're in trouble.
Yeah, but you pulled it out
somehow.
They got tight in the end.
No. They were really good at the end. They almost yanked it out at the last moment. 1-2 to Flores.
It's like those frustrated athletes, you know. They always fold their tent late.
It was for community. Couldn't let Bayonne be Queens.
Flores down on strikes for the second time, and Lester has his 4th strikeout.
Boy, Flores is struggling. He's starting to chase the breaking ball. Everybody's feeling the heat.
It really is an epidemic.
Yes.
I've never seen anything like it.
Well, I have.
You have? This long?
My early Cardinal days, we had a couple teams that we went through long stretches like this where we didn't hit. And I can remember trying too hard.
Evan Pilecki has one of the Mets' 3 hits. Single to right field in the second. 3 hits. That has a familiar ring to it. That's how many hits the Mets had last night. Still looking for their first run in this series. Keith, when you ask Terry Collins about, do you go home at night and think about different lineups? I mean, it wouldn't have been beyond the realm for him to say, yeah, I was thinking Matt's 3rd, Syndergaard 4th, right, DeGrom 5th.
Hey, Rocky wants to pull a rabbit out of my hat.
Where they pick the lineup out of a hat. I think Joe Madden has done that before. Joe Madden once did a DH leading off and then did 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, all the way up. Well, he wears it. Terry Collins, he wears it every night.
Yep, he does.
He takes it home and he thinks about it 24/7.
2-2 to Plawecki. Just off the corners, he tried to backdoor the cutter.
If you're trying to teach your left-hander at home how to pitch, this windup would be perfect to model yourself after. Little toe tap, high leg kick, and watch the step. That foot is straight at the plate. There's nowhere other to throw than the ball over the plate. That's why he has great control.
Let's look from the 4K super zoom camera, which sounds like something from outer space, and well, it is. It's the next wave of technology.
I could never do that. I could never get my front foot to point straight at the plate because I threw a little across my body. I worked at it. I could never do it. It's innate for Mr. Lester. That's beautiful form. Barrel chest right over that knee. And a great follow through. Great fielding position for a guy who doesn't like to field.
Lester's first 3-ball count of the night. And Plawecki pops it up. Rizzo looking at Ross. Rizzo will take charge, and that retires the side. Lester's now retired 8 in a row. No score as we go to the 5th. Before the game, Steve Gelbs had a chance to catch up with Cubs manager Joe Madden.
All right, Joe, yesterday, the news, you bring in the magician, and that's something that you've done throughout your career, whether it be a DJ or wild animals into the clubhouse. Where do you come up with these things, and how do you determine, okay, this is the time where I'm going to do this specific thing?
Well, we believe in magic around here. We needed to create some, and so I got on a plane the other night coming out of St. Louis, and I knew we had to do something to have the guys chill out a little bit more. They didn't need any more batting practice. They did not need any more ground balls or any more pressure. I just wanted them to chill out a little bit. So I've always believed in baseball magic. You have to create it on your own. You have to earn it. But I thought we might need a little jump start, so we brought in Simon all the way from Vegas for that.
Do you decide, okay, magician, I've had this on my list for a while, or is it a spur-of-the-moment thing?
It's always extemporaneous, but it's the magician's been in my back pocket. I've done it before. I don't like to be redundant, but it was just seemed to be the right thing to do at that particular time. When we get back to Chicago the rest of the season and try to interject some things at different. See, here's the thing. This is hard what we do. It's not easy. It's 162 games in a championship season. Our guys work hard. They care. They're really a tightly knit group. They don't need my anger or punitive decisions. They need me to support them. And when things aren't going well, I'm just trying to get things a little bit lighter because they're fine. So whatever it takes on a daily basis outside of extra work, which I think is way overblown, I'd rather do that.
Joe, coming to Chicago, sports craze city, obviously very different than managing in Tampa Bay. What has been the biggest difference between those two cities?
Restaurants. There's more of them. The weather. God, it was like 45 degrees on May 31st. We had the heater on in the dugout Memorial Day weekend. It was unbelievable. Honestly, the ballpark is fabulous. The fan base is great. I have the honor and privilege of going to Wrigley Field every day, and I mean that sincerely. I'm a baseball traditionalist to be able to call that home right now. I'm very, very lucky and fortunate. I had a great run in Tampa Bay. I feel the same way about that place. But at this point in my career, to be given this opportunity, I'm very lucky.
Joe, appreciate the time. Thanks.
It was my pleasure, buddy. Thank you.
Well, the Cubs worked long and hard to acquire Joe Madden as their manager this year, and hoping that will mesh with the talent that they've brought in to produce some better results for the Cubs.
I think it's interesting, though, that he is playing into how to psychologically have his team ready to play a very difficult game.
Ross pops one up. Flores makes the call and the catch one away. And after all, that's the manager's biggest job, preparing his team to play on a daily basis. People can talk all they want about strategy and batting orders and pitching changes and what double switches you make. It's all about having a team ready to play 162 times in a, as Joe says, a very difficult sport.
And we mentioned it last night that when Terry Collins was manager of the Angels, Joe was his bench coach, and when Terry was fired, Joe got his first managerial job. He took over the Angels after that, so 12 years later. 13 actually.
Joe was telling me once about one of the things he tried to make work that didn't work. He was in the Dominican Summer League, and he was getting his players to get a two-strike approach. So he got everyone on the top of the dugout, and anytime anyone had two strikes on him, he'd have the whole bench cheering for his kids. Let's go, two-strike approach. He said what happened is every single young kid tried to get the two strikes so they get the cheerleading from the bench.
May not be the best strategy there. 0-2 to Lester. And he goes down swinging again. Make it 0 for 66 in Lester's thus far fruitless hitting career.
Change up. Out foot change up.
I think it was a fastball, just well placed, not thrown overly hard. For 66, you don't have to do a lot.
The previous record was 0 for 57, which was Joey Lawrence before he finally got his first big league hit. And Lester has trumped that. There's Jonathan Herrera, who flies one to shallow center field, and Lagares jogs in under it. A very easy inning for Bartolo Colon. He threw just 6 pitches to get the side out 1-2-3. We're halfway through at Citi Field. The Mets and Cubs still no score. 2 struggling pitchers, Colon and Lester, have found the right antidote for what has ailed them.
Both teams are struggling. Both pitchers throwing a lot of strikes. And the only way that these teams are going to get out of it is to have maybe a little help and no walks from these pitchers.
Colon has done it with great efficiency. He's thrown just 68 pitches through 5 innings. As we get ready for the bottom of the 5th, let's check in with Steve Gelb. Steve?
Guys, I am here with Jay Walder, President and CEO of Motivate. They run the Citi Bikes. Thanks, Jay, for being here. And Leslie Bilgor is with Citi. Jay, let's start with you. What is the overview of the Citi Bikes program right now in New York?
I have to tell you, Citi Bike is only 2 years old. And what's really terrific about it is it's everywhere in New York. As we stand here today, 19 million people have taken rides on Citi Bike. That's pretty neat.
Pretty neat indeed. And Leslie, I know there's a big initiative now. You may have seen some Citi Bikes with Mets logos on them.
Today we launched our first ever Citi Bike sweepstakes with social media plans surrounding the Mets branded bikes. We've taken 50 Mets branded bikes and put them all around the city. All you have to do is take a picture of one of the Mets bikes, put it on your Twitter or Instagram page with the hashtag Citi Bike Sweepstakes. You can win some great prizes. We're giving away tickets to games, Mets hats, every day starting today through July 29th. And the grand prize is the opportunity to throw out the first pitch at the Mets Nationals game on August 2nd.
Not too bad. Leslie, Jay, thank you so much for joining us, and head out and look for those bikes, guys. Thank you.
Well, Steve Gelb's getting in the spirit of the Citi Bikes program earlier today. I think he was out pedaling. There he is.
Nice hat.
Nice satchel.
Looks like
What's he doing?
Tank core there or something.
Oh, wait a second.
Didn't he just throw it back to himself?
I believe that was a boomerang T-shirt launch.
Can I ask Steve a question? Does he know how to ride a bike?
Well, he's much better on the stopped bike.
Yeah, I like that one. Making fans everywhere.
We go to the bottom of the 5th inning. Juan Lagares leads off. Lagares got hit on the ankle by a pitch his first time up. He was the last Mets base runner against John Lester, who subsequently has retired 8 in a row. It'll be Lagares, then Colon and Granderson as the Mets try to break through. 13 innings in this series, still no runs. And Lagares slugs one deep left center. Back goes Fowler near the warning track, and it's over his head. Hops over the fence for a ground rule double. So Lagares mired in a 2 for 32 skid, hits one 400 feet for 2 bases.
Cutter that didn't cut right down the pipe, and Lagares makes him pay.
In this ballpark, you can still cover a ball completely, and it stays in the yard.
So Big Bart's going to be asked to sacrifice.
A souvenir. 9th double of the year for Lagares. Colon has 2 sacrifice bunts, and Anthony Rizzo playing in his shirt. And he takes the swing and fouls it back. How about that?
Rizzo's going to get himself hurt there. I would never be that tight. There's just no need to be that tight. You can come in.
Once he tips his hat, right? Then you come in.
You can. He backed up around 4 feet. Still
awfully close.
I would just be bunting it to Lester. That's what I would be doing.
Make
Just
Lester
to his
handle
right.
it.
Yep.
Up, stabbing.
Well, the Mets got a leadoff double from Mayberry in the 2nd. could not score. Trying to do better with Lagares' leadoff double here in the 5th.
Tell you what, you're going to get your all-star first baseman killed one of these days if you do this. Play him in so tight like that.
I think you're right, Ronnie. I think this is only because of Lester that they play so aggressively at the corners. And Colon takes the swing and misses the curveball, and that's the 5th strikeout for Lester. 1 out.
Well, no execution again.
Flores couldn't get Mayberry over. Mayberry had a bad read, I think, on the base hit by Plawecki. He doesn't score. Here, Colon a chance to bunt Lagares over, doesn't get the job done. There's a reason you don't score. There's the little things.
Granderson is singled and flied out, 1 for 2. Lagares at second and 1 out. And with the shift against Granderson, Castro is playing right behind Lagares.
Yeah, that's part of the shift, and they would love to get Bryant, the third baseman, over more in the hole, but he has to stay a little bit close to that bag because of a potential stolen base from Lagares.
To me, though, this is the best matchup the Mets could have. Lester struggled against lefties all season long. Granderson's the hottest Mets hitter.
Fowler playing fairly shallow for a guy with a lot of home runs. Same thing with Baxter. He's not known for speed.
That's hit hard. Nice pickup by Rizzo, and no advance by Lagares as Lester covers first. Lagares not sure whether that ball was going to bounce, and he has to hold it second. 2 out.
Well, he's got to advance on that ball. It's just not a good read. The ball's clearly going to be, it's not going to be a line out. So
you also have to remember the situation. It's going to be 2 outs. Rizzo's not going to throw that ball across the diamond. You can always advance.
So now 2 out. Lagares still at second. Here's Tejada. Poked one toward the middle, and Herrera made a nice play going behind the bag and throwing him out in the 3rd. Urban now in an 0 for 14 skid and takes a fastball for a strike. Good cutter by Lester to get ahead 0-2. That's a 1 for 6 with runners in scoring position tonight. Sunset, Mets offense. Metaphor.
Ooh, yeah, man.
0-2 coming. And it's off the plate. 1-2 to Tejada with Duda hoping for a turn on deck. Tejada tries to lay off the curve and stopped it in time. Las Diaz with a call. 2-2.
Boy, he's gone to the curveball a lot when he needs a strikeout, or he wants to go for the strikeout. That one bounces off the plate. That's why Ross wasn't able to control it right in front of him.
Nice block, though.
Yes, very good block.
Lagares able to get a bigger lead off second in this at bat, with the defense not shifted behind him. So he should be able to score on any hit to the outfield, even with the outfield playing shallow. 2-2 to Tejada. And it skips away from Ross, and over to third goes Lagares on the wild pitch.
Well, if was there an advancement there, that might have been a run, but you don't know what. I'm sure that Lester would not have bounced it. Would have been a little more selective, but you never know.
Well, almost hit Tejada in the foot, in which case Lagares would not have been able to advance to third.
he must have caught Ross. He walked Lester out, gave himself a few moments.
So now the tie-breaking run at third with 2 down, 3-2 to Tejada. He's worked his way back from 0-2. And he goes down swinging on the cutter to end the inning. 6 strikeouts for Lester as he gets around a leadoff double, and Lester goes off the mound limping, and limping noticeably. Something happened to Lester on that last pitch. While we check on Lester, let's go to Steve Gelbs, who's standing by with Sunday's hero, Steven Matz. Steve?
Gary, everybody's still buzzing about that performance on Sunday. Steven, you've now had 3 days to let it all sink in. When you look back on it now and are able to reflect on it, what have the last 3 days been like for you?
They've been a lot of fun. I enjoyed that game a lot. It was a lot of fun. I had the off day to kind of soak it all in, and now just going to get back to work and focus on my next start now.
If there was one moment that you had to pick out from that day, that wow moment, what would it be?
Probably that double. The first at-bat, being able to barrel the ball up was pretty cool.
I know you went back to Long Island, back home. You brought Jacob deGrom along with you on that off day. What has the reaction been like when you walk into the local deli on Long Island versus the way it was a few days earlier if you would have gone?
Yeah, everyone's really excited. I think a lot of people saw the game and stuff, so it was pretty cool to be back. A lot of people were excited about it.
When you have a game like that obviously has to give you so much confidence moving forward, is that the type of game that it's now like all the jitters can go away and you can just pitch moving forward?
Yeah, a little bit, because it just makes you realize it's just it's not much different than AAA, really. Baseball is baseball, no matter what level you're at. So that's just it's gonna be my approach.
I'm sure you've had plenty of people reaching out in the last 72 hours or so. Any one person that's really stood out to you?
No, not necessarily. Nothing I can think of. A lot of people have been reaching out.
Yeah, I'm sure that phone's been buzzing off the hook. Well, we appreciate the time, Steven, and congrats on that first one. Good luck in the second.
Thank you.
Gary?
All right, thanks, Steve. And to Steven. Meanwhile, John Lester talking to his pitching coach, Chris Bosio, after this mishap a moment ago.
Well, we showed that follow through before. Watch his left leg. He turns his ankle. That's what he did. He turned that left ankle when he landed.
Barely. Well, enough that the Cubs certainly have concern. Meanwhile, Dexter Fowler leads off the sixth, pops the first pitch up. Plawecki sheds the mask. 1 pitch and 1 out for Colon in the 6th inning.
It's like Lefty Grove and Bob Feller out here pitching. God, an exercise in futility, both squads.
Well, very much like last night. You saw 2 pitchers who weren't cracking 90 miles an hour. Hold each other in check. Only 7 hits in last night's game. There have been only 6 in this game. It was the 6th inning last night where the Cubs broke through for a run. A walk to Chris Bryant, and then the Matt Caesar double that played the only run of the game. Rizzo fouls one back.
That happened quick, didn't it? I mean, the runner got to second. Jonathan, had a play at second base. He didn't take it. And then the next pitch, double scored the run. I mean, just like that.
So the Mets and Cubs involved in another scoreless duel. Last night, according to the Elias Sports Bureau, was the first time that the Cubs had beaten the Mets 1-0 in 40 years. And the last time it happened was a very famous game in that it was one of Tom Seaver's no-hit bids. In fact, he took a no-hitter into 2 out in the 9th inning at Wrigley Field before Joe Wallace, that Joe Wallace, broke it up. It was a scoreless game at the time. Skip Lockwood came in, walked in the winning run in the bottom of the 9th, and the Cubs won it 1-0. That was September 1975, and that's the last time the Cubs ever beat the Mets 1-0, 40 years ago.
Considering all the great pitchers that have been on both squads, you think that Seaver and Fergie Jenkins would have had more of those.
I think I said bottom of the 9th. It was bottom of the 11th.
Yeah.
Lockwood walked in the winning run. Seaver pitched 10 innings in that game. So did Rick Russell. 2-2 to Rizzo.
Now, Palone's motion different than Lester. Not a lot of push off. Really throws with his upper body. Closes up nicely. And see that foot just a tiny bit closed. And that's how he gets that good sink. You show me a guy who sinks the baseball, I'll show you their front foot that's a little closed. Throw across their body.
And he gets him with a slider. Cologne fans Rizzo. That's 5 strikeouts for Bartolo, and he's set down 11 in a row.
Keith, this ball almost hits him in the foot.
Yep. You tilt the head like that. You tilt the eyes, and you fish. You do some serious fishing on breaking balls down and in.
Ronnie, go back to the thought of the foot being closed, throwing across your body. Why does that create sink?
Well, what happens, Gare, is that we saw Lester with that foot straight, so his ball's pretty true to where he's throwing it. When you throw across your body, what happens is that you have a kind of delayed action on your arm, and it comes through a little late, which drives that ball down and away. It's not going to be that true fastball up in the zone. It drives it down and away, especially for a right-hander like Cologne, down and into the righty.
Bryant takes it on the corner, 0-2. This has been a real bounce back for Cologne tonight after giving up 4 runs and 10 hits in his last start in Milwaukee. Just 2 hits tonight, and he set down 11 straight. 0-2 to Bryant. This is with a changeup, 1-2.
Interesting pitch, huh? 0-2, just trying to bottom out a changeup. Show him something he hasn't seen yet.
See if he'll swing at it. Not a strike. Unhittable.
One-two. Struck him out. Bartolo Colon fans Chris Bryant for the second time. He's retired 12 in a row. 6 strikeouts for Bartolo. Look at the sink on that pitch. Still no score at Citi Field. Mets have 3, 4, and 5 in the batting order, coming up against John Lester in the 6th, looking for their first run in this series. Lucas Duda bends out of the way. David Ross misses it, and Clint Fagan takes the brunt of it.
Expecting a cutter that didn't cut, and caroms right off the glove, then the mask.
It's one thing on a foul ball, but as an umpire, you can't be expecting that.
Well, that was the old trick, you know, in the old days. You had an umpire that you were mad at. Call the old, pretend like it was a curveball and let it go, be a fastball right off his mask. Like that.
Oh, man.
We did it, well, I didn't do it. Tulsa, we had a really older umpire that was just terrible. And it was from the game before he had the same pitcher. He did it in the third inning or something. And it didn't fool the umpire. He'd been around too long. He smoked him right in his mask.
And I bet you didn't have the 4K super zoom camera to capture every excruciating detail.
So there's a collaboration when that happens between the catcher and the pitcher, because the catcher's got to make it look like he ducks down to catch a curveball and it's a fastball. I have not seen that in ages.
I don't think that Lester and Ross were conspiring.
No. That's a thing of the past.
Let me ask you a question, because I don't know Clint Fagan. He's a rookie. Who's older, Ross or Fagan?
Oh, I bet you Ross.
Ross,
yeah,
right? Not often the players are older than the umpires.
Well, the Mets need to get Lucas Duda going here. He hasn't had a hot streak all season, and he's just getting back to that take mode.
Only hit 1 home run in the month of June. Now we're into July. And Lester cuts one outside, 2-1. Daniel Murphy on deck, then John Mayberry for the Mets. And you see the numbers have fallen precipitously for Lucas as the season has gone. He did hit 7 home runs in May, 7 of the 10 that he's put up so far after his 30 home run season last year. And, you know, you hate to project because sometimes that can be a fallacy.
Yeah.
But you're getting toward the midway point of the season. When the Mets get through their game Friday in L.A., they will have played half a year. 81 games.
So you're saying if you double the numbers, you're starting to get to maybe what you're going to see production-wise.
Good 3-1 cutter from Lester. I mean, you don't know that it's going to go that way, but it gives you an idea of the kind of pace that a player is on and whether he's having a good half or a bad half.
They're going to have to turn it on. That's what you're saying.
Well, if he's going to get to 30, which is going to be hard to do. But right now, I think all the Mets are looking for from Lucas is some level of consistency. Forget about the home run.
Just about a hot streak. I mean, he just has not had a hot streak yet this year. We're, as you said, almost halfway through.
I wonder, though, Keith, when a player has taken as long as Lucas took to get to where he arrived last year, and he gets to that kind of a plateau, how much pressure he puts on himself to get back there again. In other words, does 30 become an obsession that might affect other parts of his game?
Well, not so much the 30 gear, but certainly things are expected of you now. After you've had your first breakout season, management is building the team with the expectation of that strike 3 right there, another called third strike.
7 strikeouts for Lester. Second time he's gotten Duda looking.
But, they build the team around the expectation, and now it's a little bit of responsibility, and you can kind of he's got the big swing, so that was the fastball inside that set up that slider.
Now Murphy with 1 out. Well, Duda, such an important part of that batting order, and when he slumps, has a lot to do with the team slumping.
Yeah. Well, when you're really slumping, you're not walking, that's for sure.
And early in the season, Lucas was getting hits, walking a lot. Remember, he only had 2 home runs in April, but he had a very high on-base percentage. Then he started to hit some home runs in May, and in June, everything went wrong.
There's always a second half, and you just got to hope that they're going to all click sooner or later. I just, Kadyr's got to get back on that lineup, that's for sure. And Kadir has not had a hot streak.
Murphy cracks one into right field for a base hit. Well, Murphy staying with that cutter and pulling a base hit into right. The Mets' 5th hit of the night.
Pretty good pitch there from Lester. Better hitting by Murph.
So 1 out base runner. Now John Mayberry coming up. Mayberry has hit 2 balls well tonight. He drilled a double that went to the left field corner leading off the second. And then he hit a ball even better his last time up over Coughlin's head, but Coughlin made a terrific play to go back and get it. So Mayberry Getting a couple of good swings against John Lester. If I were the Mets, I would send every base runner.
He'd be less inclined with Murph coming off with the quad.
He'd just take a walking lead. He's not going to throw to first base. He's established that. Down to third. Bryant's going to have to go to first with it in time to get Mayberry, and Murphy down to second.
Mayberry slipped in the box, so that was an easier play for Bryant than it might have been.
You want to get you're in the infield defense. You want to get that lead runner.
So now Flores, who has struck out twice against John Lester curveballs, he's now 0 for his last 11 and 7 for his last 44.
Now, how about a 2-out RBI?
Well, the Mets weren't able to get the lead runner yesterday. Maybe it works against the Cubs today.
David Ross going to go out to talk to Lester about how they approach Flores with first base open. By the way, we've gotten confirmation. Clint Fagan, the home plate umpire, is younger than David Ross. He's 33 years old. Ross is 38. You can win a trip for 4 to Universal Orlando Resort, where you'll experience the action and fun of 2 amazing theme parks, plus stay on site at Universal's Cabana Bay Beach Resort. Just go to sny.tv/Toyota and enter the Toyota Fan Flyway Sweepstakes for your chance to win. Flores, 33 RBIs, tied with Duda for the club lead. And that tells a story in and of itself at nearly the halfway point of the season that no Met has more than 33 runs batted at.
Well, when did Bryant come up? He has 43.
2 weeks into the season.
Yep.
And the backdoor curve throw to second by Ross, and Murphy just barely got back in. He had an enormous secondary lead and somehow was able to find his way back.
Well, he's out on a good throw.
Herrera had to reach for the throw, and that enabled Murphy to get his hand back in. Shorter lead this time for Murph. And Flores takes a strike, 1-1. Kevin Plawecki would be next. I mean, I understand he can take an extra large lead on Lester, but then he should steal the base, not go halfway to third.
It's 2 outs. Stay where you're at. Don't get picked off.
And Flores takes one the other way. Baxter, though, has it measured and makes the catch to end the inning. A hit and 1 left. 15 fruitless innings for the Mets in this series. Well, he's sitting out tonight, but we sat down with Michael Kadire and talked with the Mets left fielder about the difference between playing in New York as a Met rather than playing with a visiting team.
It's different. You know, you come in as a visiting player and your hotel's either Grand Central or right in the middle of Times Square. It's one of those things, and it can get overwhelming. You're like, I don't know how people do this, you know. But living here and making it your home and being in the neighborhoods, totally different perspective, totally different atmosphere, and I can see why people fall in love with the city. Driving over the FDR Bridge every night going home and seeing the city to my left is pretty cool. You know, it's the greatest city in the world, and to have it be your home feels great.
Kadire in many ways was built for a big market, and it's almost a shame it took until right at the end of his career to get here, considering all those years he played in Minnesota and Colorado, where he kind of goes overlooked both on the field and off the field. And he's the kind of guy that he is a great clubhouse guy, but he's also great with fans. You could tell immediately when you met him on the first day of spring training that this is a guy that's interesting. He's got knowledge of the world beyond just baseball, and I think that makes him a perfect fit in New York.
To actually see the excitement and you feel a part of that excitement is been pretty cool. When you can share in the excitement and the joy with 25 other guys and then a whole city as well, I think that's the ultimate.
Well, Michael Cuddyer out of the lineup tonight and probably tomorrow as well after getting a cortisone injection in his left knee. And, Michael was asked some questions tonight regarding his own performance, which has obviously been underwhelming over the first half of the year. And he said, at the end of the day, at this point in my career, the only thing matters is team wins. And it sounds trite, but somehow coming out of his mouth today, you could tell he really meant it. And, not every player feels that way, especially earlier in their career when they're trying to establish themselves.
Well, he's definitely a team guy. I think that's why it weighs on him so much when he doesn't perform, I think, at the level he thinks he should perform at.
Seventh inning, Chris Coghlan leads off against Bartolo Colon, and so for yet another day, a Mets starting pitcher operates with absolutely no margin for error, knowing that any mistake he makes could be enough to beat him. It was the case for Nice last night. 1-1 to Coghlan. By the way, I don't think we've mentioned this. Remember the game on Saturday, the game that ended up being suspended? Matt Harvey gave up only one run, and it was the result of the drop by Granderson on a sliding try down the right field line, and they scored it a double. They've now changed the scoring to an error on Granderson, which takes away an earned run from Harvey and actually drops Matt's ERA below 3. He's now at 2.99. Hit sharply. Flores with a diving stop. Throws him out. One away. Wilmer Flores takes a base hit away from Coghlan. One out.
Nice play by Wilmer here. Beautiful dive. Good hands. Good throw.
You know what's interesting to me, guys? It still takes him a while to get up, but playing second base makes all the difference in the world.
I don't know about you guys. It takes 10 seconds to watch this guy and recognize that this is where he should be. I mean, honestly.
He just looks so comfortable there and makes the plays. Made one last night up the middle.
Now one out. Here's Castro. Doubled down the right field line in the second. And then grounded out 1 for 2.
Yep. Beautiful layout right here. And a much shorter throw, obviously, when you're at second base, particularly when you're going in the hole.
Even better on the 4K Super Zoom. 1-1 to Castro. Meanwhile, Bartolo Colon has now retired 13 Cubs in a row since Jonathan Herrera's fly ball double back in the third. Big cut by Castro. 1-2. Well, you got two teams that just cannot score right now. The Cubs have scored 8 runs in their last 7 games. The Mets have scored 22 runs in their last 12 games. And so, you're in the 7th inning, and it almost takes on the feel of an extra inning game. That if anybody scores, that might be it. And Castro is down on strikes. That's 7 now for Colon. 2 out.
Chasing a bad pitch. The old runner in. Big long swing. Can't hit a pitch that's a foot inside.
Well, the Mets pitching has been stellar over the last 10 days. And really all season. Mets for the year are 4th in the National League in earned run average, but 1st in the majors the last 10 days. Mike Baxter's flied out twice in his return to Citi Field. Mike had only 7 big league at bats last year with the Dodgers, but getting a chance to play right now with Jorge Soler on the disabled list with an ankle injury for the Cubs, and hoping there's still a job for him when Soler comes back and has a left-handed bat off the bench. Colon quickly ahead of him 0-2. Choking up a tad. Up the middle, and that's a base hit for Baxter. So after Colon had retired 14 in a row, Mike Baxter with a 2-out single. Hector Rondon is up in the bullpen for the Cubs. He worked the 7th inning in last night's game.
Fastball away, a little run late. Hit too hard.
David Ross is due up, but we're going to get a pinch hitter. Miguel Montero, the #1 catcher for the Cubs, will come up to bat. Montero's been struggling with the bat lately, but much more of a threat than Ross, and so Ross will exit. And the former Diamondback Montero will pinch hit. John Lester still out on deck, but they have Rondon up in the bullpen, so they certainly got the option.
Both teams are using only a 4-man bench, and this is the last left-hander, the only left-hander on the bench for Joe Madden. And Montero is one of these guys that is a dead pull hitter looking to jack every pitch.
.90 pitches for Colon with 2 out in the 7th. Checks in on Baxter, who's not yet attempted a stolen base this year.
Another quick move by Colon.
Two 2-0 now to Montero. Well, Lester is out on deck, but if Montero gets on, it's hard to believe that Joe Madden won't bat for Lester here. He's in the same situation as Terry Collins. He has to take advantage of whatever opportunity presents itself. He's got Matt Caesar, who drove in the only run last night, on the bench to pinch hit. There's a strike, 2-1. He's also got Addison Russell as regular second baseman, and Kristen Orfia, who started last night in right field.
Two pitches away for balls, 1 pitch inside for the strike. Let's see where Colon goes on 2-1. Back outside.
Montero goes after the fastball, and it's 2-2. Teased him. Torres on the left. Torres on the right. Stand up, sit down, fight, fight, fight. 2-2 to Montero. Struck him out. 8 strikeouts for Bartolo Colon. Arguably his best effort of the season. Now can the Mets find the way to get him a run? No score in the 7th. Time now for another Mets moment.
Inside 1-0. A high fly ball deep to center field. Back goes Finley, going back. Warning track at the wall. Jumping, and it's out of here. It's out of here. The Mets win the ball game on a home run over the center field bench by Todd Pratt.
The clinching home run in the 1999 National League Division Series against the Arizona Diamondbacks.
That was off the closer,
Matt Manti.
That's right.
Oh.
Mike Piazza had a bad thumb, if I recall correctly, and that's why Pratt was playing that night.
Look at these batting cages today, folks. There's what is right off the Mets clubhouse. Look how wide it is, number one. And it used to be a lot narrower, and so I never liked hitting in a cage because you never got a feel where you're hitting the ball. So when I hit in the cage, because it was raining, and wanted extra work, I would always try to go right back to the pitcher up the middle and try to hit the cage in front of the pitcher.
Well, it could not be better located because it's right between the dugout and the clubhouse. So you walk out of the clubhouse, the cage is right there, and 3 steps further, you're in the dugout ready to go up and hit.
Do you remember Fulton County when they had the little the machine that pitched out of the hole, and they had the motion picture of a pitcher to delivery on the background? That did absolutely nothing. It was of no help.
I remember, because I lived in New York City, when you would start throwing in January at Shea Stadium, their batting cage was down the right field line, and it was the god-awfulest batting cage you've ever seen.
It was terrible.
Oh, it was just horrible. Didn't even want to be in there.
No.
It was a little scary.
It wasn't conducive to offensive prowess.
John Lester back out there for the bottom of the 7th. He's at 89 pitches for the night. And like Colon, this has been a bounce-back performance for Lester, who in his last start against the Dodgers last Thursday allowed 4 runs, 4 hits, 4 walks in 4 innings. And here he is with 6 scoreless innings under his belt. Mets have not scored yet in this series through 15 innings. And try and snap the futility with Plawecki, Lagares in the pitcher's spot due up. Let's see, Colon is at 94, so unless they get the first 2 on and you leave him in there to bunt.
I wouldn't leave him in there to bunt because he's proven he really can't bunt. So
Dan Warthen talking it over with Bartolo. So whether he's out of the game or not may depend on what happens these first 2 batters. Plawecki 1 for 2 tonight, and he takes the curveball from Lester for a strike. Slowest curve he's thrown all night, 71 miles an hour. Plawecki singled to right in the 2nd, fouled out in the 4th. Lagares on deck. And a fastball away, 1-1. That's about a couple of leadoff doubles in this game. From Mayberry in the 2nd, from Lagares in the 4th, and neither time were they able to convert that into a run. Hector Rondon staying busy in the Cubs bullpen. Rondon worked a 1-2-3-7th last night behind Kyle Hendricks. Cubs bullpen was perfect last night. Rondon, Strop, and Mott 9 up and 9 down.
Just you, Montero motioning out to Lester. Let it go. Let it go. If you're going to throw that cutter in, let it go. New catcher is always a different thing for Lester, right? Ross is his everyday catcher, or every 5th-day catcher.
Plawecki hits it sharply, but a 1-hopper to Castro. 1 out. Tonight's Mets Plus telecast on SNY is brought to you by Citi Perks. Earlier today, Citi went down to the Mets team store and surprised the Citi card holder with a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to throw out a ceremonial first pitch in tonight's game. This unique experience is one of the many exciting Citi Perks available to Citi card holders, courtesy of Citi Perks. There's Lagares, who was hit on the ankle by a pitch and then hit a long double to left center in the 5th inning. Eric Campbell has come out on deck to bat for Bartolo Colon. Mets have had 5 hits. The Cubs have had 3. And a wild swing at a curveball, and it's 0-2. So Colon appears to be done after 7 scoreless innings. His first scoreless effort this season.
He's searching out fist bumps. I like that.
The last time that bat goes flying. Last time Colon pitched a scoreless game for the Mets was May 28th of last year, so more than a year ago, when he went 7 1/3 against the Pirates. So a terrific bounce back for Colon. But you know, we saw it last night with Neese and Hendricks. You got 2 teams that can't score a run. So do you credit the pitcher or do you fault the hitter?
Oh, you can't go up there and throw lollipops.
You sure? Lester ahead 0-2. His 98th pitch coming. And the curveball hit in the air to left. That's playable. Conlon settles under it. 2 out.
I don't know if it's the humidity or what tonight, but the ball doesn't seem to be going anywhere. I'm not saying that was going to be deeper than it was, but the ball's just not carrying.
Is that Lagares shaking his hand after that last at bat?
Wind maybe blowing in. cross.
Well, now Campbell, who has had just a dreadful time of it. His last start, though, on Sunday, he was on base 4 times in a row with 3 walks and a hit by pitch and scored 3 runs.
Which will always be remembered as the Matz game.
But for Campbell, it was a Mike Baxter-like game. Baxter had the 5-walk game in San Diego. Despite all that, though, Campbell just 7 for his last 66. And he needs a big hit in the worst way.
Ooh. That was a little tight strike zone there.
Lester and Montero both wanted that pitch.
Bobby Parnell getting ready to pitch the 8th inning for New York. There's a strike. I was interested that Ricky Bonas said that Parnell has not had to change anything coming back from Tommy John surgery.
I was surprised at that also.
Even though he's clearly a different pitcher now than he was before the surgery. And now Lester, who's rarely been behind in the count tonight, falls behind 3-1 on Campbell. Curtis Granderson on deck.
And Campbell took the 2-0 fastball down the middle. He can't take the 3-1 fastball. He'll cut her in.
Bounces that into the Cubs dugout. Cubs have James Russell, the left-hander, getting ready for Granderson. With Rondon, the right-hander. Joe Madden almost got nicked by that last foul ball. That's why he has a smile on his face. 3-2 to Campbell. And it's low ball 4, so Lester really unhappy with himself. Issues his first walk of the night with 2 out in the 7th. You got Granderson coming up. 104 pitches. What does Joe Madden do?
Keep him in. He's throwing a good game.
I mean, you paid this guy all this money over 6 years to take him out in a 0-0 game.
Then why did he have Russell up?
That's a very good question.
No, because he could have a choice. If he saw his pitcher laboring, he could maybe have the choice of bringing someone in.
Well, it's going to be Lester to face Granderson, who's 1 for 3 tonight, led off the first inning with a base hit.
If things got out of hand in this inning, Gary, you got Duda and Murphy coming up. You got the left hand.
There goes Campbell. The throw by Montero, not even close. And the Mets finally take advantage of Lester with a stolen base.
Nicely done. Campbell fast enough, sneaks one in there. He's in scoring position. The Mets are a base hit away from getting a run.
Lucky Lester got out of the way. That throw from Montero would have hit him at the mound.
5th stolen base of the year for Campbell. So the Mets have a runner in scoring position with 2 out. That's 21 against Lester. Second to Tyson Ross of the Padres. 1-0 to Granderson. Castro keeping Campbell very close. And the cutter misses away. 2-0. First base is open. Ruben Tejada's on deck. So it wouldn't be shocking if this were a pitch around situation. But this is one of those things you were talking about in Atlanta, about a pitcher whose time is short in the game.
Does he feel like he has to go after Granderson here with the pitch count?
That's hit down to first, handled by Rizzo. Lester covers, side retired. 16 innings in this series, and the Mets still looking for a run. Bobby Parnell coming in to pitch the 8th. Earlier this afternoon, we had the opportunity to speak with Jennifer Breithoft, Citi's Global Head of Entertainment Marketing, to learn about the Citi Perks program.
Here now with Jennifer Breithoft, Global Head of Entertainment Marketing at Citi. Jennifer, thanks for joining us. And just tell us about some of these Citi Perks.
Certainly. So we introduced Citi Perks this year, and we're really excited about it. Citi Perks provides unique experiences and benefits for Citi card holders who are obviously Mets fans as well. And this year, some of those perks and benefits include early access to tickets, seat upgrades, discounts on tickets, rewards when customers use their card to purchase merchandise. And lastly, we're doing all these surprise and delight once-in-a-lifetime experiences, which we're really, really excited about. We recently pulled a Citi customer out of the merchandise line, pulled him down onto the field, had him throw out the first pitch, which was really a unique moment for him. He got to meet the players, they gave pitching advice, and most importantly, he got to bring his family down on the field as well to share in that memory and that experience. So we're really excited about what we're doing to bring Citi Perks to life here. In addition to that, we're bringing other access to Citi Field, including camps and clinics. We have an upcoming camp for kids with Curtis Granderson that we're excited about. It'll be the second annual camp here at Citi Field. Kids will get to play on the field, get coaching tips and advice, and their parents get to be the hero watching from the stands. So I'm really, really, truly excited about that. And lastly, we are bringing music here to Citi Field for the first time and hoping to do more of that in the coming years. We have the Foo Fighters coming here in a couple weeks, and then we also have the Zac Brown Band coming here later in the summer. And not only were we able to offer card members early access to tickets to those events, but also we're going to be doing unique experiences before and during those shows. So very, very excited about everything happening here at Citi Field.
Jennifer, thank you so much for the time. You mentioned the Zac Brown Band. Let's take a sneak peek at what to expect when they come to Citi Field in August.
Winning Zac Brown Band, Jekyll and Hyde Tour. Friday, August 21st and Saturday, August 22nd at Citi Field. More at ZachBrownBand.com. Tickets are on sale now. Get access to preferred seating with your Citi card. Buy tickets at Mets.com/ZBB. Every online ticket order includes a copy of the new album, Jekyll and Hyde. In stores now. Don't miss Zac Brown Band. Presented by Buy Brands.
And don't forget the Mr. Met umbrella is part of the Citi Perks program as well.
Let me catch my breath.
Very distinctive eyes. Bobby Parnell on to pitch the eighth. Chris Denorfia, the pinch hitter, batting for John Lester. Denorfia started last night in right field, went 0 for 4. Parnell worked around a leadoff walk in the eighth inning last night. Walked Bryant, got a double play ball, and then struck out Denorfia.
Well, you see the numbers on Bobby in only 7 games. This is 8th. Numbers against left-handed hitters has been outstanding with that spike curve. Right-handers also. Denorfia was there, John Mayberry, isn't he? He's on that bench to hit against left-handers.
In St. Petersburg tonight, Cleveland is playing at Tampa Bay. Now, 2 nights ago, Cody Anderson for the Indians took a perfect game into the 7th. Last night, the Indians' Danny Salazar took a perfect game into the 6th. Tonight, Indians starter Carlos Carrasco has a no-hitter through 7.
So it's an epidemic all the way around, everywhere.
And that's against a Tampa Bay team that's tied for first place.
Murph guarding the line there at third base. And deep. No doubles.
2-2 to Denorfia, the Bristol, Connecticut native. And he checks his swing on the breaking ball, 3-2. By the way, the last time before the last 2 nights that 2 teammates took a perfect game through 5 in back-to-back games was the Mets in '69. Jim McAndrew and Nolan Ryan. 3-2. Hit toward the hole, and a base hit for Denorfia to start the 8th inning. So a nice turn at bat for Denorfia. And a leadoff hit against Parnell. So Lester out of the game, now hoping for a run. And a very adept bunter, Jonathan Herrera, comes to the plate.
And he will be called on to bunt.
Looking down to Gary Jones, the Cubs' third base coach, to make sure that the bunt is on. Herrera hit a fly ball double in the 3rd and then flied out in the 5th. Denorfia at first and nobody out. And Herrera not bunting on the first pitch. How about that? The Cubs only have 12 sacrifice bunts this season.
American League manager, possibly.
Denorfia has a healthy lead at first. Strobe getting ready in the Cubs bullpen. Murphy in on the grass at third, not sold that Herrera's not bunting, and he is this time. And Parnell with the diving catch, and he turns the double play. Parnell going all Greg Louganis to pick this one off.
I don't know if we've ever talked about Bobby Parnell's fielding ever before, and lays out and makes an outstanding play. I thought that bunt was going to be a good bunt, so did Denorfia.
It looked like he had deadened it, but it hung in the air just long enough for Parnell to dive and reach it.
Nice reaction.
Flores covers first for the 1-4 double play.
Boy, oh boy, this is an exercise in futility for both teams offensively in every category.
2 out and nobody on for Dexter Fowler, who's 0 for 3 tonight, and he lifts one to left. Should be easy for Mayberry. Side retired. Bobby Parnell with a tremendous defensive play to help himself out. Still no score. On the Diamondbacks at 110, the first 15,000 fans will receive a Mets jersey drawstring bag, courtesy of Verizon. For tickets, visit Mets.com/Family Sundays. Pedro Strop, who worked a 1-2-3 8th inning last night, will pitch the 8th inning tonight.
Keith, I listened to you last night. Marvel at this guy's stuff. He's got great stuff.
He's got a nice little hook and throws hard.
And throws 95.
And he's got the cockeyed hat.
Maybe someday he'll straighten it out, but why start now? Are you making a lot of mistakes tonight?
I am. It's just
been borrowing my
I can't find
my
whiteout.
I'll have to give you an extra one. Ruben Tejada leads off the home 8th. Ruben's 0 for 3 tonight, 0 for his last 15. And he takes a slider for a strike from Strop.
Strope's got the funky delivery too.
So something has happened tonight that has not happened in a very long time. Bartolo Colon went 7 scoreless innings. It's a scoreless game. That's hit slowly, and Castro charges. And a low throw can't be handled. Rizzo tried a second time, but too late. And Tejada is safe on the Castro error.
A little lazy with Rizzo on the glove. That's a short hop. You got to make that play.
Ooh, that was close, that second grab, but looked like Tejada did beat it.
Yeah, got to get down and more, get lower to the ground.
So you get your eyes closer to where the ball is?
Yeah.
So the error on Castro, the first error in this series for either team, opens the door. Lucas due to the batter. Dude is 0 for 3, 2 strikeouts and a ground out against Lester. And Lucas takes a fastball for a strike. I was going to say it's the first time in his last 28 starts that Bartolo Colon will not get a decision.
That's right.
He had the longest streak of getting at least either a win or a loss in the majors in 10 years. The last time somebody had a streak that long, in 2004 and 2005, 30 straight starts, getting a win or a loss, it was Bartolo Colon. And now his streak is over at 27. But he'll settle for the 7 scoreless tonight. He was terrific. 1 intentional walk, 3 hits, 8 strikeouts for Bart. Murphy on deck. Strop ahead 0-2. And Duda fouls it back.
Boy, he got a hanger.
Yes, he did.
Let me ask you about that play, okay? Rizzo lazy, he should have made the play. But it's also a lazy play by Castro.
Yes,
and
loose.
as a first baseman, do you ever just expect on an easy play you're going to get a good throw? No.
With a guy like Castro, who you never know what you're going to get, you're always on alert. You're always on alert anyway. I've played with Ozzie Smith behind me. You're always ready to make the play.
Let's try to take advantage. Mets have gone 16 straight innings to start this series without plating a run. This is the 4th time in 8 innings they've had the leadoff man on.
Just doesn't get. Let's see. Oh, look at that. That is unbelievable.
That's why we have the modern technology.
That is well done.
Combine the modern technology with the best camera guys in the world, and that's what you get. Everybody but Al, who defected last night and somehow was allowed back in the building tonight.
I've had it with Al. I've had it with him. There we go.
Duda down on strikes for the first out.
Wow.
Boy, he is just lost right now.
Slider or changeup, Key?
Slider in the dirt. I'm running out of words here. There's not a dictionary big enough, or a thesaurus.
Now it's Murphy, who had a base hit to right field his last time up. 1 for 3 on the night. Tejada at first with 1 out. And the backdoor slider missed 1-0. Well, the last 12 games coming into this one, 22 runs. And tonight, so far, a big 0. And Murphy goes after a slider in the dirt, and it's 1-1.
He's got a good one. Hard to lay off.
So good that the catcher Montero, very defensive behind there to try to scoop that ball with the backhand.
Jerry's Familia will pitch the 9th. Will he pitch for a save or will he pitch in a tie game? One and 2. It's a nice combination, huh? 96 and that slider coming in 81, 82.
Well, remember the Cubs had a guy that had a lot of success but would have some down times too, is Carlos Marmol. Same kind of slider and gas.
This guy's much better.
Oh yeah, no, he's got control. Marmol did not.
Marmol couldn't throw his fastball first stretch. One and two to Murph, and he pulls one down the line, foul. Got a good swing on the slider that time, just a little too quick.
That ball boy is going to get killed before the night's out. Start Fern down there. You get hurt. You got to get that glove and cover that mug.
He was able to elude one hit by Castro earlier tonight. Tomorrow, the final game of the series on the homestand. Jacob deGrom for the Mets, Jake Arrieta for the Cubs. Our coverage begins tomorrow at 12:30 right here on SNY. And after the game, the Mets are off for the West Coast. Open a series against Clayton Kershaw and the Dodgers Friday night. Kershaw and Greinke, first two games of that series. Just what an ailing offense needs.
You know, it's a funny game. Wouldn't it be something, you know, you see crazy things happen if they don't explode against two of the best pitchers in the game?
It's been an off year for Kershaw so far, but Greinke has just been unbelievable. 1.58 ERA.
Greinke's had the same kind of run production that some of the Mets pitchers have gotten from his Dodger team.
And 6 wins for that 1.58 ERA. 8th pitch of the at-bat coming to Murphy. And he lines one the other way. That's a base hit going down the line to the corner. Tejada on his way to third. Dug out by Coughlin. And Tejada's going to be held at third base. And wisely so. A perfect one-hop strike to the plate by Starlin Castro. And the Mets have second and third and one out.
Really a nice at-bat by Murph. And here's the fundies out here. Mets don't have speed at the top, so you don't get a run there down the line. And Tough was correct in holding him. Nice play off the wall by Coughlin. Perfect relay. Tough would have been. Tejada would have been a dead duck. So
John Mayberry is due up. Daryl Siciliani is going to bat for him to give the Mets a left-handed bat against Stroh. Trying to get that go-ahead run in from third with one out. Siciliani got one at bat last night and struck out. You've got Wilmer Flores on deck, who's really been struggling.
1-2 count. Look at Murph right with the pitch. Bell tie fastball. Well done. Good hitting, Daniel.
If you're the Cubs, would you consider walking Siciliani and setting up the double play with Flores, who doesn't run well?
But you could just throw some sliders here and see if the youngster chases.
Infield in. Go ahead run at third, and he does chase the first pitch slider. 0-1. So Mayberry went 1 for 3, leaving in a lefty-righty switch, and it's on the shoulders of Siciliani to try and get the first run of the game home. Not much speed at third in Tejada, a little better at second with Murphy.
Daniel's got no lead at second base with all the runners in front of him.
Squeeze play, and he misses the bunt, and Tejada is hung up. 2 runners on third, and Tejada is tagged out. The umpire thought they were both on the bag and called them both out, but Tejada came off the bag and was tagged, and so he's the one who was actually out. And the umpires are going to confer on this one.
My goodness.
If there are 2 runners on the base at the same time, the catcher is taught to tag them both, and then the trail runner is out. But in this case, the lead runner, Tejada, came off the bag. Now, you could technically say that Murphy passed Tejada on the base paths here.
Oh my gosh.
And so that and so they could call them both out.
That's right. Tejada, you cannot do that.
And they could both be out. because technically when Tejada ran backwards past Murphy, Murphy passed Tejada on the base paths.
You got Laz Diaz as the crew chief. Flip a coin here, guys. Know the rules.
The Mets could have run themselves completely out of the inning here. They missed the squeeze bunt. Terry calling a suicide squeeze, something he rarely does. Siciliani missed the bunt, and so you expect to have Tejada tagged out. But Ruben, for some reason, came off the bag at third. And it could be that the umpires are going to call both runners out.
It's interesting. Corey Blazer is the one doing most of the speaking here, one of the younger umpires.
He's the second base umpire.
He's off the bag. He's explaining that he went behind.
This would never have happened 30 years ago. Let me tell you, the umpiring.
Well, the umpires are going to go to a review, I think.
Good gosh.
Well, first they're going to talk to Joe Madden about it. Joe came out immediately. Yeah. He wants both runners to be called out. And, in fact, the umpire did call them both out.
He had it right, but he changed his mind.
Yeah, now you see, if they're both on the bag and they tag them both.
And he did tag them both. They're both out.
But Murphy is out for passing Tejada on the bases, and then Tejada's out because he got tagged off the base. Yeah. And I think Joe, if he's saying they're both out, has a case here.
He does.
Because once Murphy passes Tejada, and it wasn't Murphy's fault, it was Tejada's fault, then Murphy is out, and then they tag Tejada, and Tejada's out. It was just a terrible play by Tejada, not knowing the rules.
You could protest this call.
It's not clear what the umpires are saying, but clearly Joe is not getting his way, which means that the Mets are going to have a base runner safe at third.
What you do if you're Tejada is that once you see Murphy has third base, you stop and get tagged out. Very simple.
You stay on the base.
And if you're on the base, you stay on the base. You don't go off the base.
This call does not go Joe Madden's way. And that is one of the runners out, Tejada. He will protest this game.
I wonder, is this is something I would think that is subject to crew chief review if they want to go to replay, isn't it?
I don't know that.
I don't know that either. Joe's saying, look, he went off the bag. If you pass a runner on the bases, you're out. So that's what Murphy technically did when Tejada ran backwards behind him, going past the bag. So Murphy should be out at that point, even though he was on the bag, because they tagged him, or even if they didn't tag him. But the Mets are going to get away with this, it would appear, and Murphy's going to be safe at third.
I was wrong. Madden got an explanation that he's comfortable with, I guess.
Well, the squeeze is a failure, and it's all Tejada makes this whole controversy here, which is just, why would you run back to the base and then just run off?
It's just ignorance of the rules. Of course, it also goes back to, we talked about this earlier, the Mets' inability to get a bunt down, particularly from their position players. So it's a caught stealing 2-5-2 charge to Tejada. Murphy takes third on the play, and now the Mets have the go-ahead run at third with a 2-strike count on Siciliani. And he just makes contact to foul it off and stay alive. Murphy before the squeeze play, obviously having trouble picking up the sign.
By the way, he's almost on the other side of second, not retagging the bag.
Out in the middle of nowhere land.
0-2 coming, and that's down 1-2 to Siciliani. While Jerry's Familia getting ready for the ninth. The inning began with a throwing error by Starlin Castro. Duda struck out. Murphy doubled to the left field corner. Tejada held at third, and then Siciliani called upon for a suicide squeeze, missed the bunt, and Tejada was tagged out, and the Mets fortunate that they didn't have a second runner called out as well. 1-2 coming, and Siciliani got a piece of it. It's a foul ball.
Barely. Whoa.
Came up and hit him in a uncomfortable spot. Flores would be next. And Siciliani goes down on strikes. Inning over. Mets waste an error and a double. And they're hearing it from the crowd. 17 innings in this series. The Mets still have not scored a run. Jerry's Familia will come into a tie game in the 9th inning. We talked to Jerry about some of the hardships he faced when leaving the Dominican Republic to play baseball here in New York.
My life, growing in Dominican Republic with my parents and my sister and my brother, it's a little hard because the job my father have, he don't make a lot of money, so it's a little tough. That motivated me to play baseball and trying to help my family. When I came here my first time, for me was a little tough because I can't speak English. It's the first time I was away from my father, and then came here. Like I said, I start a new life. It was a little tough.
1-2 to Stanton. Struck him out. Nasty slider.
Fortunately for the Mets, Jerry's Familia has been extraordinary.
One more strike to get. He struck him out, and the ball game is over.
I think the education my father and my mom giving to me when I grow up with them in the Dominican Republic prepared me to be a better person, great teammate, and better player.
You know, when you meet Jerry's Familia, you know that he had great parents. He's a special guy.
You know, and it's not because of success now. He's always been nice. Hasn't he? He's just been one of those kids that you always liked, even when he was coming up as a 16, 17-year-old.
Daryl Siciliani, who was unable to get the squeeze bunt down, leading to all the controversy in that last half inning, stays in the game in left field, and Familia will try and keep this tie game against the best part of the Cubs batting order, Rizzo, Bryant, and Coghlan. Meanwhile, in St. Petersburg, Carlos Carrasco has taken a no-hit bid into the bottom of the 9th for the Cleveland Indians. Through 8 innings, he had 1 walk, 12 strikeouts, and 106 pitches. And he's just started the bottom of the 9th. Carlos Carrasco working on a no-hit bid. Anthony Rizzo 0 for 3 tonight. He's grounded out, flied out, struck out. Now 0 for 7 in this series. Familia last pitched in the completion of the suspended game on Sunday. He went 2 innings and threw a season-high 36 pitches. So now after a couple of nights off, right back out there for the 9th today. Chris Bryant on deck. And Rizzo hits one out to left center field deep. Back goes Siciliani. It's over his head. Short hops the wall. Rizzo heads for second. And he's in standing with a leadoff double. First hit in the series for Anthony Rizzo.
Sinker away. Yes, it is. It goes right with it. Didn't too flat, Ron. Point of delivery 2 3/4. You lose a little bit of that sink.
So the go-ahead run in scoring position with nobody out. Anthony Rizzo now all alone, leading the National League in doubles with 24. Chris Bryant the batter, and nobody in the building's looking for a bunt. Bryant has grounded out and struck out twice. And he grounds one foul, 0-1. Well, you know his strategy. He wants to hit 4 fly balls. So it would behoove him to hit one to right field.
Hard to hit a fly ball off Familia when he's got that good sink.
Chris Coghlan hitting cleanup tonight is on deck. The top 4 hitters in the Cubs batting order before that double were 0 for 13 tonight. And Bryant with a half swing fouls it back, and it's 0-2.
Boy, oh boy.
That is called trying to get a runner over, and you're in a slump, and you're a rookie, and you take a swing like that. It's embarrassing.
Familia hit 0-2 on Bryant. Struck him out. 98-mile-an-hour sinker to get him, 1 down.
Wow.
I mean, we saw Colon do it at 89 or 88, and here Familia does it at 98.
Can anybody hit?
Here's Chris Coghlan, who's 0 for 3, robbed of a hit on a terrific diving stop by Wilmer Flores his last time up. Rizzo at second and 1 out. The Mets twice in this game got leadoff doubles, and the next hitter could not advance him. Now the Cubs have the same problem. And Coghlan takes a fastball for a strike. Starlin Castro on deck. The Cubs no runs 5 hits. The Mets no runs 6 hits. Meanwhile, Carlos Carrasco going for that no hitter. First 2 batters in the 9th, walk and a hit batsman. Coming up tonight after Beat the Booth, it's Geico Sports Night. Chris Carlin, who hosts Beat the Booth. And in honor of that, he's going to watch video from his days as Chisel on American Gladiators. Didn't know that there was a Chisel. Now we know. 1-1 coming. And Coghlan leans back. 2-1. Carrasco just got the first out in the bottom of the 9th on a fielder's choice.
I wonder how many pitches he's thrown.
He was at 106 starting that 9th inning. He's got to be upwards of 115 now, I would think. 2-1 to Coghlan. Rizzo at second, 1 out. And he lays off. It's up and away, 3-1. Carrasco now at 117 pitches. And now the Mets are going to give intentional ball 4 to Coghlan and bring up the right-hand batter Castro in a potential double play situation. And there's ball 4, so it goes in the book as an intentional walk. Second one given up by the Mets tonight. Now, Castro has grounded into 11 double plays this year, among the top figures in the National League. So this is a matchup you want if you're the Mets.
You want it, but the small problem about Castro is he is a good bad ball hitter. He's the kind of guy that can pick a ball off his shoe tops.
Well, don't forget now, he struck out against Colon. Colon running that hard little sinker that doesn't have the velocity that Familia has. So he's a big free swinger.
Rizzo at second, Coghlan at first, 1 out. If Castro doesn't get the job done, who's on deck? Mike Baxter, hoping to be a hero in his return to Flushing. Familia hoping to get the ground ball from Castro, who's 1 for 3 tonight, double down the right field line back in the second. And Castro takes one that just missed, if it missed.
Nope, doing the same thing, trying to crowd him.
Pilecki trying to frame that for Clint Fagan, but the rookie home plate umpire was having none of it. The runners go. Castro swings and misses. Pilecki's throw is right on the money, but he's safe. Rizzo slid short of the bag. Murphy missed the tag, and Rizzo is safe at third on the double steal.
You've got to keep the glove. It's a correct call. And you've got to keep the glove on the bag and let the runner come to you. He did not tag him.
Boy, he missed him.
Why do you lift the glove?
I agree. You leave it on the bag and let him slide to you. Boy, I tell you,
it's a terrible slide, but it's effective.
Well, this is his full intention to bring his foot back. And this is just a El Stinko game.
Well, Mets are going to challenge, and probably rightly so, because it's the ninth inning, and hoping that the call will be on their side, but it's hard to believe this will be overturned. He certainly looked safe.
He didn't tag him.
Well, he tagged him, but
long
after Rizzo's foot was on the bag.
Nice call.
Very tough call for Chris Cuccione, and he got it right.
So it's a double steal. Rizzo picks up his 12th stolen base. Coghlan follows him for his 6th.
They can't overturn this.
No. Meanwhile, Carlos Carrasco just had his no-hitter broken up with 2 out and 2 strikes in the bottom of the 9th inning. Joey Butler had the base hit that broke it up, and they confirmed the call. He's safe.
Got to keep the glove down, let the runner slide into the glove.
So now Familia in a strikeout situation. As you look at the tag again, not made until long after Rizzo was on the bag. Took only 56 seconds to review that one. So now the Mets have to bring the infield in. It's 1-1 to Castro. Runners at second and third and 1 out. Mike Baxter on deck. No score, top of the 9th. And Castro breaks his bat, flares one, in comes Lagares, and he's got it. Tagging at third, but not coming home is Rizzo, and that's the second out.
Jeez.
What a play. Came out of nowhere.
He was playing shallow. No chance. Boy, oh boy, I tell you what, I have not seen as poorly a played game by both sides in a long, long time. Just an utter lack of hitting.
So a huge second out for Familia. He breaks Starlin Castro's bat. Lagares makes the play, and now it's Baxter trying to put the Cubs in front. Back in his old haunts in a big spot in the 9th inning. Baxter 1 for 3. And he takes a fastball for a strike.
Watch where the broken bat goes. Murph looking at the ball, never saw the bat.
Oh my goodness. Never saw it. Yeah, you're right.
Fortunate he didn't get impaled. Baxter had a base hit to center field his last time up. Rizzo at third, Coghlan at second, 2 out. And Baxter hits it sharply, but right at Tejada. And somehow Familia gets through the inning unscathed. A double steal, but Familia up to the task. Now the Mets will try and win it in the bottom of the 9th with Flores set to lead it off. As Jerry's Familia puts up a 0 in the top of the 9th inning. Mets will have 6, 7, and 8 in the batting order coming up in the bottom of the 9th. It has been
it's one to forget. It's not over yet.
17 and a half innings have been played in this series, and 1 skinny run has scored. That was last night. The Cubs scratched out a run in the 6th inning, and that has been the entire offense cumulative in this series.
No, to me, Keith, it goes back to the execution. Both teams have had chances to score runs with or situationally hit, and neither team has done that.
And it's been poorly played in the field, base running, no execution. It's a game that I want to just put in delete. I'm not working.
Deleting it already.
I am not working tomorrow, and I don't have the LA trip. This is one. It's perfect. I got 7 days to get this out of my system.
We might be here for another 10 innings. You know that.
I know
right?
that.
Meanwhile, we talked about Carlos Carrasco with the no-hit bid. 2 out, 2 strikes in the 9th inning. 123 pitches. Joey Butler at the plate. 1 strike away.
Not a
and
bad
little
pitch.
Flare to right center.
Line drive. That's not a bad pitch. Kind of nice hitting.
Butler's had a good rookie season for the Tampa Bay Rays. Carrasco claps. Don't get that.
What's he clapping about? Oh my God! What's going on?
Channeling his inner Armando Galarraga.
Yeah. This world's turned upside down.
Well, we go to the bottom of the 9th. It'll be Flores, Plawecki, and Lagares coming up after Familia was able to keep the Cubs off the board on the top of the inning. And Hector Rondon, who pitched the 7th inning last night, gets the bottom of the 9th inning tonight.
Well, what's interesting about Rondon, he's been in this place before. He's a guy that started the season as a closer for this team. Mott closed up for them last night, and his numbers are awfully good also.
It's awfully strange to me, Ronnie, and we were talking about this a bit last night, that Joe Madden's bullpen has been pitching wonderfully over the last 6 weeks, and yet he makes this change on the fly with the order of his bullpen.
Well, I think what's interesting is that most managers try to put their relievers in a kind of role, right? Or the relievers want to have a certain role. Joe just goes with the hot hand. That's how he's always done it.
Flores is 0 for 3 tonight, 0 for his last 12, and 7 for his last 45. Looking for one ball he can drive. And he takes outside from Rondon. Hansel Robles in the Mets bullpen, James Russell in the Cubs bullpen. Hit hard, foul. 1-1 to Flores. John Lester went 7, allowed no runs, 5 hits, a walk, 7 strikeouts. Pedro Strop worked around an error and a double in the 8th. As the Mets missed on a suicide squeeze opportunity. And now it's Rondon in the 9th. Good swing by Flores, but he fouls it back 1-2. Kadire down with a sore knee, got a cortisone injection today. So the Mets are limited on their bench tonight. 1-2. Fouled away.
Limited on their bench, which means you might, if it goes deep, might see one of the pitchers out there.
Well, when we're done here, it's WB Mason postgame live. Gary Apple, Nelson Figueroa will have all the postgame commentary, all the interviews, the highlights. 1-2. In the air to center field, easy for Fowler. And Flores retired 1 out.
I should clarify that. I'm saying that the starting pitchers get ready. They might get an at-bat in this game.
Yeah. I'm going back to the post-game show now. You've worked the post-game show. How many highlights can you show from a game like this?
I called them the lowlights when you come to. I don't know. You just remember that one time we had a game. You and I did the Open, and you had a shot sheet about 20 numbers long.
Not anymore. Here's Kevin Plawecki. Plawecki is 1 for 3 tonight. How about this? Bartolo Colon threw 7 scoreless tonight. It's the 29th time that a Met starter this year has allowed 1 run or no runs. That's 29 out of 79 games. That's about 38% of the time. In 11 of those 29 games, the Met starter who allowed no runs or 1 run didn't get the win. And Plawecki pops one up into shallow center. Herrera out, Fowler in, and Fowler's got it. 2 out. So now Juan Lagares with 2 out and nobody on. Lagares has hit the ball better than any Met tonight. In the 5th inning, he hit one 400 feet to left center, then hopped over the wall for a ground rule double. That came leading off in the 5th, but he was stranded at 3rd. Johnny Manel is out on deck to pinch hit for New York if Lagares can keep the inning going. Manel, the last position player available to Terry Collins tonight. Castro makes the play on target, and we're headed for extra innings at Citi Field. 18 innings in the series, and the Mets have not scored a single run.
Ma, keep the lights on.
Hansel Robles coming in for the 10th. Earlier this season, Citi surprised a lucky Citi card holder with the opportunity to throw out the first pitch after he used his Citi card in the Mets team store. Here's a clip of his once-in-a-lifetime experience, courtesy of Citi.
Hi, everybody. I'm JB. I'm at a team store at Citi Field for one very specific reason, and Leah knows the reason.
We are giving away some amazing Citi perks.
It's going to be an amazing day, and the person that's going to get those perks doesn't know yet. Hi, excuse me, did you just use your Citi card to buy that Mets gear?
Yeah.
So today, as part of our Citi Perks program, I would like to present you with this autographed Curtis Granderson baseball.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're so welcome.
So that's one of what may be many Citi Perks today. If you're up for it, are you up for maybe the Citi perkiest day you've ever had?
Yeah.
How about if you threw out the first pitch?
Yeah, okay.
All right, James, so you just warmed up in the Mets bullpen. How's that feel?
Yeah, I'm a little nervous, but it'll be all right, I think.
First pitch just happened. How'd it go? How'd it feel out there?
That was good. It's surreal.
Was it a good day?
Great day.
All right, well, thank you guys so much. Enjoy the day, and thank you guys for being with us.
Now that is pretty cool. Out of nowhere, all of a sudden, you're throwing out the first pitch.
Well, we got a nicely dragged field for the 10th inning.
Alonso Robles will pitch the 10th.
Well, Robles, his ERA, he's been up and down. He's a hard thrower, so you don't know what you're going to get. He has little control problems, has a hard slider, has a good arm.
Pitched a scoreless ninth inning, and the Mets 7-2 win over the Reds on Sunday. In Miami, Justin Bour just hit a 3-run walk-off home run in the bottom of the ninth inning against Santiago Casilla, and the Marlins beat the Giants 6-5. Boy, did they need that.
That's 2 nights in a row Justin Bour's hit a home run.
And you know what they have going on tomorrow? Jose Fernandez makes his return.
Right.
And it's going to be a huge day for the Miami Marlins, who haven't had a whole lot to cheer about this season. Miguel Montero up for the second time, came in as a pinch hitter in the 7th, stayed in the game behind the plate, struck out in that one at bat against Bartolo Colon. That was the last man Colon faced in his 7 scoreless innings tonight. Addison Russell on deck to pinch hit in the pitcher's spot, and then Jonathan Herrera in the 10th. And Robles misses low ball 1. The Cubs are 8-4 in extra inning games this year. The Mets are 4-1. So both teams have been successful in their extra inning affairs. The Cubs have already won 19 one-run games this year. That's the most in the majors. They've played 32 one-run games. That's also the most in the majors. There's Russell on deck to pinch hit. This is the first time in 2 seasons that a Mets game has gone scoreless into the 10th. Last time it happened was September 15th, 2013 against Miami, and the Mets won 1-0 in 12. And
there it is.
All zeros tonight.
Make some scrambled eggs with those goose eggs.
Has anybody ever tasted an actual goose egg?
I have.
Is it any different from a chicken egg?
No. They're bigger. So there was a place in Madrid that I did have to try it.
Really?
Yeah, when I was over there 2 years ago.
So which came first, the goose or the egg?
It certainly wasn't a run.
Not between these two teams, not in this series. 1-2 to Montero, and it's away. 97 miles an hour from Robles. Well, what happens tomorrow when you get DeGrom and Arrieta on the mound?
Oh, no fooling. I'm going to go do a good workout in the morning. And when I turn the game on, I'm going to exhaust myself so I can fall asleep if I have to on the couch.
Just in case, right?
So you're saying that Ronnie and I might put you to sleep?
No. I am not.
It's been done before.
West Coast game.
Yeah.
3-2 from Robles. And Montero grounds one right at Flores. 1 out in the 10th. And now Addison Russell will be the pinch hitter. Russell batting for Hector Rondon. Russell, the regular second baseman, 0 for 3 last night. Well, you know what's nice to know, Ronnie?
Yeah.
You know how they always say when we go to Atlanta that we're the ones who bring the rain there?
Yes.
It's nice to see somebody else have a long rain delay in Atlanta. Russell tries to hold the swing, but he went around 1-1. The Nats and Braves waited a good 2 hours before they started. They're now in the third with no score.
Settle in. Herrera in his last at bat couldn't get the bunt down.
Robles overpowers Russell 1-2. Bobby Parnell pitched a scoreless 8th. Jerry's Familia worked around a leadoff double to pitch a scoreless 9th. Jason Mott hoping for a save opportunity in the Cubs bullpen.
Everybody's been scoreless tonight.
1-2. Up and away. 2-2. Correct me if I'm wrong, but the Mets have already had back-to-back 1-0 losses this year.
To Nats.
Mets have already lost 4 1-0 games this year, the most they've ever had before the end of June. Of course, now it's July. Their pitching continues to be outstanding every day. And the 2 veteran guys who are now at the, I guess you'd say, at the back of the rotation, Nice and Colon, pitching wonderfully in this series, giving up just 1 run in 13 innings between them. But it's like the old saying, if you pitch a shutout, at least you have a chance to tie.
I mean, it's just I've honestly never seen 2 teams struggle. I shouldn't say 2 teams. We've been just watching the Mets the last dozen games. And you get through the order where you're expecting something to happen, but half of you doesn't expect it to happen.
That's outside, ball 4, and Russell's on with a 1-out walk. So Robles runs full counts to his first 2 hitters, loses the second one, and now will face Jonathan Herrera with the man on. Herrera last time up with Denorfia at first, tried to lay down a sacrifice. The ball hung in the air long enough for Bobby Parnell to make a tremendous diving catch and turn it into a double play. So both teams have had their bunting foibles late in this game. Herrera bunting into a double play, and the Mets missing a suicide squeeze bunt by Daryl Siciliani. That took them out of the 8th inning.
I've never seen so many hitters swing under balls in my life. No one has any hitting the top half of the ball, all uppercutting it.
What does that tell you? Does that tell you people are just trying to hit home runs?
That's how their swing is. Is it a product of being taught to hit home runs? The aluminum bats? I don't know. But it's tough when you're swinging up.
Herrera hits a double play ball right at Tejada. Flores with the turn, and they double up the speedy Herrera. Side retires. Oh, the newly configured Mets infield looking good. 6-4-3 on the double play gets the Mets through the top of the 10th. Curtis Granderson will get a turn at bat in the bottom of the 10th. The 86th All-Star Game coverage begins 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific if you're so inclined. Directed by Bill Webb. Tuesday, July 14th on Fox.
Did you add that in about Bill Webb?
How many cameras did Billy say he's going to have for that All-Star Game?
Plenty.
35 cameras.
Wow.
What do you do with 35 cameras? How do you keep track of 35 cameras?
Roll gold, and I've seen him do it.
That's why he's the best there's ever been.
He can do it with one hand tied behind his back and blindfolded.
Jason Mott, who got the save in last night's game for the Cubs, brought into a tie game here in the bottom of the 10th.
Yeah, tossed the perfect ninth inning last night. Trying to keep the Mets off the board, which has been pretty easy tonight.
Addison Russell's going to stay in and play second base as well, so the pitcher goes in the 9 hole as Herrera comes out. Mets will have Johnny Manel up to pinch hit as we go to the bottom of the 10th. Manel, the last available position player for the Mets, operating on the assumption that Michael Kadire is fully unavailable after getting that cortisone shot in his knee today. Mets are going with 4 bench players as it is, so really only 3. They used Campbell as a pinch hitter earlier. They used Siciliani and left him in the game. And now Manel. Manel pinch hit last night and flied out to right field. Got the start on Sunday and picked up a couple of hits. And he'll go up against the former Cardinal Jason Mott, who saved 42 games for the Cardinals 3 years ago, then had Tommy John surgery, and now finds himself back at the ends of games.
But when I see him at the end of ball games, it makes me think of Bruce Sutter, who wore both the Cubs and Cardinals uniform.
Doesn't throw the splitter like Sutter did, but he did have a beard. Big cut by Manel, trying to end it with one swing. Curtis Granderson on deck, then Ruben Tejada. Pedro Strop pitched a scoreless 8th inning. Hector Rondon a 1-2-3 ninth for the Cubs. Carlos Torres up in the Mets bullpen, ready to pitch if there's an 11th. Mets hope not. 1-1 to Manel. Two and one.
See Montero showing Mott he's getting under that fastball, leading with his elbow.
Well, Mott's got that odd catcher-like delivery left over from his days as a catcher at Iona. And I would think that would give you the tendency to get under the ball at times.
Not there.
Two and two to Manel, leading off the bottom of the 10th. And Johnny goes down swinging on a fastball for the first out. 10 strikeouts for Cubs pitching tonight.
I think the fault in that at bat was that he took a 2-1 fastball away. That was a pretty good pitch to hit, and that ball, Mott able to locate it up and in.
You're not going to get a 2-1 fastball middle in and hit out of the ballpark. You're heading to count.
Now it's Granderson, who's 1 for 4 tonight. This time they've got the full shift on against Curtis, who takes a knee-high strike.
A little bit low, I thought, borderline.
Granderson's first time up when they have Bryant about 65 feet away. Not at this point in the game where Granderson's looking to hit one out of the ballpark. Curtis Granderson has hit 1 walk-off home run in his career. It came 10 years ago.
That's shocking to me, right?
Yeah, especially with the 2 years in a row of 40 plus.
They pitched around him in those spots. No such circumstance here with Mott going right after him. 0-2 to Curtis.
Whoa. Great look on how little time you have to react to that baseball.
Because he's set up running with that front foot so pointed on the third base side, it's hard for him to come across his body, right?
Yeah, but his problem is he flies open, so he's trying to stay closed by that, closing that front foot.
Anderson goes down on strikes. Back-to-back strikeouts for Mott to start the bottom of the 10th.
Foul tip into the glove of Montero.
So 2 out and nobody on for Ruben Tejada, who's gone 0 for 4 tonight. Last time up, reached on an error, and then had some adventurous base running that I don't know what book it was taken from, but it was a scary one. He was on third when Siciliani tried to squeeze, missed the bunt, and as he got caught in the rundown, ran past Murphy, who was standing on third base.
Well, he didn't run past him because he didn't run back towards second base. So that's probably the technicality right there. It's always the back runner that takes precedence. And I blew the call, actually. So,
well, if they're both on the bag and you tag them both, then Murphy is out. But they weren't both on the bag. And
he's called him out, though.
He called him out because there was passage, because technically Murphy, who was the back runner, was ahead of Tejada on the bases, which means that Murphy should be out. And then Tejada was off the bag, and he should have been out. It was a moot point because Siciliani struck out anyway. But Russell grabs the pop-up by Tejada, and we're off to the 11th inning at Citi Field. Mets and Cubs still matching zeros. There's a graphic illustration of just how difficult the next 5 series. Mets will be in LA, in San Francisco. They get a bit of a breather as they come home to play the Diamondbacks, and then they get the All-Star break. But right out of the break, they're in St. Louis and in Washington. The Mets, by any measure, have the most difficult schedule in the major leagues in July. In fact, their opponents have a .547 winning percentage, which is the highest that any team will face this month. Carlos Torres will pitch the 11th inning for New York.
Well, Carlos Torres coming out of that bullpen is kind of your long man now when you're locked in this 0-0 game. It might be the one pitcher that you might let go if you can keep it scoreless. Go advanced innings.
That's also if Logan Barrett in that bullpen who can give you multiple innings. A guy who's been a starter most of his career. And in fact, was starting some games at Vegas not long ago. Top of the batting order, Dexter Fowler up for the 5th time. He's gone 0 for 4 in this game. Fowler, Rizzo, and Bryant for the Cubs in the 11th.
Well, the Magic soft drink can has produced 1 run for the Cubbies in 19 innings.
Well, it's worked for their pitchers. They haven't given up any.
That's right.
19 innings for the Mets in this series. No runs. There's a strike, 2-1.
So the glass is half full or half empty, Gary?
Kind of like that goose egg.
It's turned over and spilled onto the ground.
And Fowler gets tied in a knot, and they say he didn't swing. Wow. Chris Guccione with the call, 3-1.
Surprising.
Used to seeing any movement called a swing, but not that time, and Fowler works out a walk. So a leadoff walk issued by Torres. There are the standings in the National League East. Nats are in Atlanta in the 4th inning with no score. Mets 3.5 behind Washington, 3.5 in front of Atlanta.
Look at the last 10 for the Nats and everyone else in the division.
Well, they've been pitching wonderfully every day. Last night it was Jordan Zimmerman going 7 2/3 scoreless.
He seems to be back on track.
Here's Rizzo, who doubled his last time up, a long one to left. Well, the Nats also have started to dominate the Braves. They've beaten Atlanta 9 straight times now after their win last night.
As they should. The Braves have revamped that bullpen, haven't they? Got some guys up that have been in the minor leagues forever.
Couple ex-Mets.
Runner goes, and it's grounded foul. Little hit and run play by the Cubs. Just as desperate to find a way to score as are the Mets.
Maybe he needs to go get a python or something and run it loose in the bat rack.
Well, he said it's easier to find a magician than a python on the road. That's why they had the magic soda can yesterday.
He found a penguin once.
Well, we haven't talked about Madden's former employers in Anaheim and what transpired there today. With the resignation of Angels GM, former Met pitcher Jerry Dipoto.
That was just something almost out of science fiction. You see Chris Bryant on deck. Dipoto wanted Mike Scioscia, the manager of the Angels,
off his foot, a foul ball,
to use more of their analytics that they had ready for the team. Not only to use what you've seen, but what the analytics that Dipoto would give to Scioscia, and Scioscia was, so let's say, not dismissing the sabermetrics, but certainly not using them in the way, or using as much of them.
It went to the point that the coaching staff refused to share the information with the players, and Dipoto said then the front office was going to give it to the players directly. That ball just goes foul.
Oh, my goodness.
And now you're talking about, guys overstepping each other's boundaries.
War of the Roses.
Something had to give.
This is a power play that's been in place for a couple of years now. It was overlooked last year when they won 98 games. But remember, Dipoto's the one that fired Mickey Hatcher, who was the hitting coach and one of Scioscia's best friends.
That was, 2-3 years ago?
You can read between the lines on that one.
There's a lot of former Met flavor in that front office. Rico Brogna is a trusted advisor. Double play ball, Tejada to Flores, and the turn, scoop, and Duda can't come up with it. And Rizzo's safe at first. So the low throw by Flores prevents the Mets from turning 2.
Oh, there's a 2 that should be turned.
And that looked like one Duda should have had.
Well, the throw's brutal, okay? It's got an easy double play. God almighty, this has just been awful baseball.
So 1 out and 1 on for Chris Bryant, who's been up 4 times in this game, grounded out the first one and struck out the last 3. And he lines one into left for a base hit. Rizzo will pull in at second. So Bryant with his first hit of the night. And the Cubs have 2 men on.
Keith, not a fly ball, but a line drive there from Bryant.
Yeah.
Sometimes those work. Now it's Coghlan, who's 0 for 3 in a walk tonight. Chris Bosio on the phone. Well, they used Mott in a tie game on the road, so who's going to close? They've already used Strop. They've already used Rondon. Those are the guys who would expect to close games for the Cubs. And this guy, Neil Ramirez, back from the disabled list Sunday. He's only made 1 appearance since coming back. Maybe he winds up being the guy. Here's Coghlan. And he takes a fastball for a strike. Coughlin 0 for 3 in his career against Carlos Torres. Rizzo and Bryant each with sneaky speed aboard. Coughlin gets busted in by the cutter. Got the hands out of the way, 1-1. Rizzo has 11 steals, including being on the front end of a double steal in the 9th inning. And Coughlin lines a base hit into left. Rizzo to third. He's going to be held up by Gary Jones.
Oh, my God.
Siciliani hits the cutoff man, and now they've got Bryant, and he's tagged out. I don't know what Gary Jones was thinking. That is just an awful call. And the Mets get a huge break as Bryant is tagged out for the second out.
Let's take a look at the runner here. I'm not going to comment on it. I've made enough comments tonight.
7-5-4 is the play on Bryant for the second out. Now runners at the corners with 2 out.
Well, what you have to do here is that if you're Rizzo, you're busting it because you think you're going to score. Okay, he holds up, but Bryant's behind him. So you have to watch. If the ball goes through and Rizzo goes through, he's not even looking at Rizzo. He should be watching the runner in front of him and see what he's going to do.
Rookie mistake. But, I mean, that ball was played deep enough by Siciliani. Is there a reason for Gary Jones to hold Rizzo, who runs pretty well?
I would have sent. I mean, this game dictates you send him. There's 2 outs. No one can score. Make someone make a play.
So now Starlin Castro, who had a runner at third with less than 2 out of the 9th inning, hit a broken bat fly ball to center. Now he's got a runner at third with 2 out. And he takes a curveball for a strike.
Well, here's Rizzo, and it's a strong throw by Siciliano. And you got to send him. I think with these 1 step from third base, you got to take a chance.
I mean, it would be one thing if Siciliani was playing shallow, but he fielded that ball pretty deep.
I think he just tried to make him make a play, which he might have made. And I said 2 outs. There's only 1 out, of course.
Now there were 2.
That being said, you can't overrun your runner.
Yeah, you're right.
I mean, that is not even a rookie mistake.
Well, we've seen that happen a couple of times recently.
You got the bases loaded, 1 out. Minimum.
Now Torres with a chance to get through it with an 0-2 count on Castro. I don't think I've ever seen Carlos throw 95.
Wonder if the Cubs will put on something here. Castro, of course, all those hits, but Coughlin at first, a little bit of speed.
Little tapper, tough play for Murphy. He's got to hurry. Safe, and a run scores.
And we can't challenge.
The Mets used their challenge on the double steal in the 9th inning. Castro beats out the infield hit. Rizzo scores the first run of the game, and the Cubs have a 1-0 lead in the 11th.
So the double play, automatic double play earlier in the inning, bites the Mets.
And it looked like the correct call by Elias Diaz at first.
Yes, sir. He beat it. Clearly.
So the Cubs were trying to hand the Mets the inning, but Torres unable to seal the deal, giving up 3 straight hits, including the run-scoring infield hit that plates the first run of the game. Mets will bring in Sean Gilmartin to face Mike Baxter, trying to keep this a 1-run game in the 11th inning. We'll be right back to Citi Field. here in the 11th.
His big out will be the left-hander facing the left-hander Mike Baxter.
A leadoff walk to Dexter Fowler. Anthony Rizzo hit a tailor-made double play ball. The Mets only got one instead of two. Bryant singled. Coughlin singled to left. The Cubs made a base running mistake and Bryant was tagged out. Torres got ahead of the subsequent hitter Starlin Castro 0-2, but Castro topped one to third for an infield hit to drive in the first run of this game. And the Cubs, who won 1-0 last night, now lead 1-0 in the 11th. Baxter is 1 for 4 tonight. He singled back in the 7th inning. Looking ahead to the 11th, the bottom of the 11th, the Mets will have Duda, Murphy, and Siciliani. 3 left-hand hitters do, and so the Cubs have a left-hander up in the bullpen. Two on and two out. And Gilmartin's curveball in for a strike. James Russell is up in the Cubs bullpen, so it looks like he'll get the save chance with 3 left-hand hitters due up.
He's thrown a short game down there, hasn't he? He's been up 3 or 4 times.
Last time the Cubs beat the Mets in back-to-back 1-0 games, you got to go back to 1973. Ferguson Jenkins beat Tom Seaver April 17th, and then Ray Burris beat John Matlack April 18th.
Ray Burris,
who would later pitch for the Mets.
Big hook.
0-2 to Baxter. And now 42 years later, the Cubs trying to do it again. Also a prominent Met that year. Gilmartin ahead 0-2. And Baxter lays off the slider. 1-2. Cubs now 1 run and 8 hits. The Mets no runs and 6 hits. 19 innings in this series. The Mets have not scored a single run. Braves just put up a 4 spot against Doug Fister in the 4th inning. Home runs by A.J. Przinsky and Juan Uribe. 4-0 Braves as they go to the 5th. 2-2 to Baxter. And he lays off another breaking ball, 3-2. So Baxter's gotten it from 0-2 to 3-2. So the runners will be in motion. Another left-hand hitter, Miguel Montero, waiting on deck. Coughlin and Castro get set to take off. And Baxter fouls one off his leg.
Fastball he's thrown Baxter right in on his fist.
The Pirates won in Detroit tonight 9-3. Neil Walker, who was the hero last night on the 14th, had 2 home runs tonight. The Pirates had 21 hits. They are in front of the Cubs in the standings, both well behind St. Louis. 3-2, and Baxter takes ball 4, and the bases are loaded. So Gilmartin got ahead on Baxter 0-2, loses him to a walk, and now will face Miguel Montero with the bases loaded. The Cubs have had 3 hits and 2 walks in this inning, but so far only 1 run. And the Mets will be very fortunate to get out of this inning if only 1 run scores. Coughlin now at third, Castro at second, and Baxter at first with 2 down. And Montero up for the 3rd time. Came up as a pinch hitter in the 7th. Stayed in the game behind the plate. He struck out and grounded out. And he takes a breaking ball inside. Ball 1. It finally started in St. Louis after a long rain delay. Cardinals and the White Sox 1-0 St. Louis in the bottom of the first. That's driven to right field. It's down for a base hit. Coghlan is in to score, and Castro will be held at third. It's 2-0 Chicago. So Miguel Montero with a 2-out hit to plate the second run of this top of the 11th.
Didn't test Granderson's arm.
That's a very cautious third base
I'll
coach.
say. It's like you have him extricated.
Which was a pretty good throw by Granderson. Nonetheless, with 2 out and Castro's speed, you would expect him to be sent. Anyway, the base is still loaded now for Addison Russell up for the second time. He walked as a pinch hitter in the 10th, and he goes after the changeup, 0-1. So 5 straight Cubs have reached base. Bryant singled, Coghlan singled, Castro with the infield hit for a run, a walk to Baxter, and now Montero with an RBI single. A ball and a strike to Russell. Pitcher spot due up next. The only man left on the Cubs bench is Matt Caesar, and that's Caesar in the on deck circle. Hail.
Well met.
Tejada will go the long way. Side retired, but the Cubs break the ice in the 11th with 2 runs. And the Mets will try and answer back in the bottom of the 11th against James Russell. Time now for another Mets memory, this one from 1969.
On the mound, Seaver is almost perfect. His speed and control are brilliant. Ernie Banks is just one victim of his 11 strikeouts. Jim Qualls, a rookie outfielder, is up. A clean hit to left center field, and there goes the perfect game. But there's a standing ovation for Seaver by 59,000 fans.
Jimmy Qualls, the first to break up a Seaver no-hit bid in the 9th inning. Later, Leron Lee would do the same, and we mentioned the Joe Wallace game earlier, although that one was scoreless in the 9th at Wrigley, so there's no guarantee, even had he finished 9 innings without a hit, that he would have won the game.
The one where Jimmy Qualls got the hit, what's that called? The imperfect game? Or?
The imperfect game.
It's pretty cool.
And Tom would go on to the Reds and throw his no-hitter against the Cardinals, and I took my 0 for 4 in that game.
It's nice of you.
James Russell trying for the save opportunity. Gary Jones, who was very cautious during that 11th inning. And Joe Madden wants a little conversation with his third base coach away from the cameras. That's interesting.
Yep.
So it's Russell for the save opportunity, looking for his first.
Well, he started his career with the Cubs, went to the Braves, and re-signed back with the Cubs, and is having really one of his best seasons.
He's got 3 saves in his career, and he'll be called upon here to face 3 left-hand hitters, Duda, Murphy, and Siciliani. The Mets have no bench players available. The only man who's technically available is Michael Kadire, but he just had a cortisone shot in his knee. It will not be used. Of course, they also have pitchers who can swing the bat. Looking for a right-handed bat, Jacob deGrom, Steven Matz, Matt Harvey. Duda tonight has gone 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts. Russell had 2 saves in 2012 and 1 last year. Pedro Strop, Hector Rondon, and Jason Mott each worked a scoreless inning for Chicago tonight after John Lester went the first 7. Mets have had 19 innings of offensive futility in this series, and Duda attacking the first pitch down by 2 runs. 0-1. And a fastball from Russell gets him ahead on Duda, 0-2.
It's the hardest I've seen Russell throw in some time. That's why he's having such a good year. 92 miles an hour.
Duda has seen plenty of Russell. He's just 1 for 10 against him. Safety net for the Cubs. Justin Grimm up in the bullpen now. Now the 1-2. Struck him out. Oh boy. That is 12 strikeouts for Cubs pitching tonight. 1 out of the 11.
Citi is part of the Mets and SNY's proud partnership with Citi. Ron and I are participating in a Citi alumni tour where we have the opportunity to meet with Met fans at various Citibank branches throughout the tri-state area. To learn about the next alumni or Mr. Met Citi branch appearance, visit Mets.com/Citi.
Daniel Murphy takes a curveball for a strike. It was nicely read.
Oh, I'm very relaxed at this point in the night. I usually slow down at 10:40.
Off the mound, right out to Castro, and quickly there are 2 out. So the Mets are down to their final out of the night. Their best chance to score came in the bottom of the 8th inning. They had runners at 2nd and 3rd and 1 out. Daryl Siciliani was asked to lay down a suicide squeeze against Pedro Strop. He missed the bunt. Tejada was tagged out. Siciliani then struck out, and that opportunity went by the boards. Mets also had leadoff doubles in the 2nd and again in the 5th, and didn't score either time. And now in danger of being shut out for the 2nd straight night. Siciliani takes ball 1 from Russell. Wilmer Flores on deck. That's hoping for a bloop and a blast and a prayer. Cubs fans making some noise. Siciliani lines a base hit. Well, that's like a bloop.
Yeah.
Now they need the blast. That's first hit since the 8th inning. Joe Madden's on his way to the mound. He's got the right-hander Grimm, and he's going to bring him in. So it's Justin Grimm who's going to get the save chance with Wilmer Flores coming up. So the Mets not quite done yet. Russell got 2 outs, unable to seal the deal. Siciliani hoping to make up for the missed squeeze. Gets himself a base hit to keep the Mets going. Russell exits, and Grimm will be coming in.
Well, Justin Grimm, if you remember when the Mets went to Chicago, he was activated from the disabled list and has pitched 18 innings since then, 18 2/3, and struck out 30. Power pitcher.
Well, it's been a very special night for us, and it's all been facilitated by Citi, allowing us to bring you this game with limited commercial interruptions, extra interviews, extra features. Ronnie down in the bullpen talking with Ricky Bonas and Terry Collins on headset, and all the things we were able to do tonight, all from our friends at Citi, who brought us this game with only limited commercial interruption. And thanks to all the folks at Citi for making tonight so special for us. And now Wilmer Flores will try and make this 11th inning special for the Mets against Justin Grimm, who needs 1 out to record a save. It would be the first of his major league career. Flores tonight is 0 for 4. He's 0 for his last 13 and 7 for his last 46. All will be forgotten, though, if he can get one big swing against Justin Grimm.
He's only given up 1 home run this season.
Well, he's got to look middle in here and try to, for a strike, get something to lift.
Nine straight Mets have been retired before Siciliani's base hit to keep this game going. That's at just 3 hits last night. They've had 7 hits tonight. And now it's Flores coming to bat as the tying run in a 2-0 game. 26-year-old Justin Grimm on the mound for the Cubs. And Flores takes a first pitch breaking ball for a strike.
We saw him in Chicago. He likes to keep that fastball away and throw that good overhand curveball.
Well, now's the time to keep it away. You don't want to give up a long ball.
And that curveball in the dirt. A ball and a strike to Flores. If Wilmer keeps this game going, Kevin Plawecki would be next. That's down to their final out of the night. Another night that has seen the Mets unable to push across a run, in danger of being shut out for the second straight night and the 9th time this year. And another one in the dirt. Montero able to block it. Siciliani holding fast. 2-1. So Grimm was able to get that first curveball over. Now he's bounced a couple.
Never want to put yourself in a place where you have a predictable count, right? Got to throw a fastball here.
Missed badly with 2 curves.
There goes Siciliani. They let him go. Defensive indifference. And now it's 3-1 to Flores.
I was wrong. He didn't challenge him.
Yeah, he can't throw it for a strike.
Well, a walk to Flores would put the tying runs on base and bring up Kevin Plawecki. So Grimm working the edges and now behind in the count. 3-1 coming to Flores. And it goes to the backstop for ball 4. Siciliani goes to third, but more importantly, Flores goes to first with the tying run.
The way this game is going, Plawecki probably hits a 3-run home run here. Bosio out to speak to his pitcher.
So Grimm comes in, throws 5 straight curveballs to Flores and walks him. Throws a wild pitch as well, moving Siciliani to third. And now the tying runs on base with 2 out, and Bosio will try and settle down his right-hander.
You said that he does not have a save in the major leagues, so it looks awful nervous out there. Awfully nervous.
Well, looks like Travis Wood is going to grab his glove and start to work. The former starter, left-hander. Thought they might use him as a pinch hitter at some point.
Well, if they get to if they get to Granderson, my goodness, this game will be over.
Well, before Granderson, you'd have to get to the pitcher's spot, and that means a pitcher would have to pinch hit.
Yep.
Unless Kadire could go up there and swing, which I don't think is possible. First it's Plawecki, though. Kevin's 1 for 4 tonight. Tying runs on base, 2 out. Mets down 2-0 in the bottom of the 11th. And Plawecki takes a fastball from Grimm for a strike. First fastball he's thrown.
3 straight bad breaking balls in the dirt. And taking a fastball.
And Plawecki takes another fastball for a strike, and now it's 0-2. So now the Mets are down to their final strike. Curveball in the dirt. This one blocked by Montero. And that's important, not because a run might score, but because the tying run is at first base.
Yeah, nice block. This guy's throwing 40-foot curveballs here.
I mean, you got to look fastball, don't you? He's
Well,
only been able to throw 1 curve for a strike.
You got 2 strikes on you, Garrett. You got to bear down and protect.
I meant before.
Oh, fastball up.
1-2 to Plawecki. And he checks his swing. He did not go around, and the Mets are still alive. Laz Diaz with the call. 2-2. Really close.
Curve.
2-2 from Grimm. And it's in there for a call, strike 3, and the ball game is over. And the Mets have been shut out for the second straight day by the Chicago Cubs. Cubs scratch out 2 in the 11th against Carlos Torres. And after winning 1-0 last night, the Cubs, who had lost 5 straight coming into this series, win 2-0 in 11 tonight.
Well, what do you say? The Mets gave up 3 runs in 20 innings, but their offense did not score any.
Well, it wasn't a grand performance, and both sides really played a poor game in every aspect, and the Cubs are the ones that hung in there and went out. Both teams really flailing offensively.
Mets have scored just 22 runs in their last 13 games. They've been shut out 2 in a row, and now just a game over 500 despite the best efforts of Bartolo Colon. The game summary brought to you by Citi. More coming up from Citi Field in just a moment.